Insta. 1 second. Okay, we're live here. It should be going live.
Hello for the people that are in YouTube.
And we're live on Instagram, I think. Yay. All right, let me get... Okay. Welcome to News and Nonsense at Noon. I'm Auntie AK, aka Kizzle, aka the auntie of all aunties, and I'm here with...
I'm Farah, your resident Caribbean queen.
Nana is away for a minute, but she might come and join us later. She's got family stuff today. So she might join. If not, it's just me and the Caribbean queen getting through it. And we're here. Why? Because the world is literally going to hell in a handbasket. And we thought we would help you by bringing the news our way. We'll sift through the news and nonsense and give you our take on it. We're here to help you separate the wheat from the chaff, the sap from the crap, and what you need to know from what you don't need to know. But first of all, before you start, please, you must... I say it. Book the like button.
Like button. I was going to say, book the like button on entry, please. If you're in here, that means that you can like us.
Yes.
You can also subscribe too to our channel if you haven't already done that. And you can also subscribe to our membership if you haven't already done that too. You know, it's only £1.99 to be our friend and £4.99 if you want to be family.
Yeah. And share us, share our world. Share us with everybody. Make sure everybody comes in the chat. Welcome to those on Insta. Hi, hope you're well.
Happy Sunday, people.
Sunday, hope you're joining and having fun with us. Well, I hope you have fun with us. And after all that as well, I've just got to say these are our opinions. We are not experts. This is the Ultimate Aunties WhatsApp group, the cool one, not the mad one. And if you want actuals and factuals, ask TLC, Google or phone a friend. And any links that we do share for you to go off and do your own research. We're not taking responsibility for anything. We're just yapping our gums, all right? So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, guys, I'm starting with nonsense. I don't normally start with nonsense because no, first of all, sorry, I forgot to say who's in the chat. I forgot to say good afternoon. Where's my man? Let's do some roll call. Do you want to do it or shall I?
Okay, I don't mind doing it.
Go on, let's go. Who's in the chat?
Okay, so who is in the chat? Cher was first in the chat. Woo, hi, and then Vaughn. Hi, Vaughn. Rianne is in the chat. Sora is in the chat.
Hi.
In the chat. C is in the chat. Wavy Cat Designs is in the chat. Ria Hampton's in the chat. Yvette's in the chat. Ashes is in the chat. Strike 22 is in the chat. Miss G83 is in the chat. Miley is in the chat. Woo, 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 woo. Happy Sunday.
Good afternoon, family. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. Hope you're well. All right, so now we'll get into it. So, first up, I mean, you must be living under a rock. I've got to multitask. You must have been living under a rock if you haven't heard about the cheaters that went viral at a Coldplay concert in Massachusetts. Unexpectedly, their cuddling was caught on camera. And for those who haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it, I shall replay it. Give me a second to talk amongst yourselves.
This thing is everywhere. So, like AK said, it was at a Coldplay concert, but it's been shared on every kind of platform. I watched you might share it later. So there's a reenactment of the actual thing, and that's on 15 million views. Let alone. Yeah, reenactment of the thing, let alone what this thing has got. But it's gone viral everywhere. It's insane.
Everywhere. All right, guys. So here we go.
Coldplay has gone down in internet history, not for its music.
I was going to say there's a better clip of it because this is going to have.
No, it goes back and explains it. I think.
Okay, fine. Okay, cool.
I think from what I remember from this
music. But for exposing a cheating couple on its Jumbotron during one of its concerts. It was all good vibes at Coldplay's concert at Gillette Stadium in Boston on Wednesday night. During an acoustic segment, frontman Chris Martin turned on the iconic Kisscam to engage with the crowd. As excited fans lit up the Jumbotron, things took an awkward turn. The camera zoomed in on a couple. The man had his arms around the woman's waist. Suddenly, the man ducked out of frame and the woman hit her face. Chris Martin quipped, either they're having an affair.
Okay, my bad. I thought they had the actual.
Like go to the one that's in our chat because then you'll see the actual
Because the guy broke it down.
Chris Martin actually saying it, and like,
yeah, that's what I had. Sorry, that's what I had.
Yeah.
My bad. Talk amongst yourselves again. For those of you who have seen it, talk amongst yourselves. Give me a sec.
But this is just to demonstrate like how it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it. It's become a news feature. It's been on all the usual news platforms, and then all the black ones too. What about an Insta on our Insta chat?
One sec, I'll get it. But sorry, I was trying to stop sharing whilst you talk. Keep on talking.
I mean, you're distracting me. Where's Nana? Yeah, so I suppose like the when you see it, what's funny about it is that Chris Martin, it's like he clocks that they're not supposed to be together, but rather than just be quiet about it, he's like, oh, maybe you're not to be together. Like, are you with her? Like, what's happening? He kind of like makes it even more of a thing because he's spoken about it, which is also quite funny, but not funny. My thing is that if you're cheating, why are you cheating so publicly? That's the part that is outrageous as well. You've taken this woman, or you've taken this man, you've gone out on this very, very public date. You're out there all lovey-dovey, and you get catch in the biggest way that you can ever get catch. It's just like insane.
My thing is, why are you out there? Because I mean, first of all, maybe you don't know that Coldplay does this, the Kisscam, because I wouldn't know. If I was to randomly go to a Coldplay concert, I actually wouldn't know that they do a Kisscam. Just like today, do you know what I mean? But if you guys are going and you're having an affair, the audacity to be out there just hugging up anyhow, knowing that I don't know about her relationship status, but he's allegedly married.
Not allegedly, he is married.
Oh, sorry, I feel
made a whole statement.
Oh yeah. So hold on, okay, this is it.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on, you okay?
This might be the most embarrassing moment of the CEO's entire life.
Let's just go to the Insta.
Coldplay. It all started with 2.
You're gonna
because I keep getting I've seen it.
Just go to the Insta one, because we know that what they're doing. These ones are having a whole conversation and a debate like what we're doing. If you go to the Insta one, it's the footage. You're hilarious. You're like, why are they talking?
Do you know it was? I had the one with it on, and it was nicely done and fully screened. That's why I can know sometimes there's a narrow screen.
Oh yeah, I get it.
I had it, and I don't know why I've lost it. Go on. But yeah, I don't understand why you're out doing these things. Like, no, you're cheating, knowing that. I mean, why?
Even if there isn't a kiss camera, even if there isn't, and the thing is, nowadays in most concerts there aren't. When there's a break in the concert, they do go to the crowd a lot of times. Not everyone, but a lot of times. So it's like, even the fact that you've gone somewhere so public, like if you're going to cheat, I think you do it behind closed doors and, like under cloak and dagger. You're just outside hugging and holding hands and doing all types of things. Like, that's your gal. Like, that's your man. That's not your man. That's not your gal. So, yeah, it's just the audacity of it is just, and that's why he got caught. Good. I'm glad he got caught. What you doing? This is peak auntie behavior, by the way.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure what to do. Did we rumple you? Okay, right. Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, you okay?
Oh, look at these two. Oh.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
That part. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I heard. The one I had, you literally could see Chris talking. That's why I'm so annoyed with the
Yeah, there's another one. It's in the chat. I put it in the chat.
This is you. This is the one you put in the chat.
No, I put 2 in there.
Oh man, bruv, we played it now. Everyone gets it. We played it. Everyone gets it.
Come from Chris's angle, and
that's the one I bloody had.
It's in the chat.
Anyway, that's the thing, guys. What are you lot saying? It's the audacity of cheating for me. It's just like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? Miley says disgusting in my opinion. I bet they're both in estranged marriages. Stephen A says, I bet they're both in estranged marriages and just haven't gotten around to telling their work colleagues and families. Yeah. But then even that be the case, why are you out so blatantly in the public like that. It's not even, and it's look where they are. It doesn't look like they're in like Gen Pop either, or are they? Was it because it seemed like they had space around them? So I wonder.
Yeah. It didn't look Gen Pop to me, but who knows?
Yeah.
It looked like maybe they were in a like the booths, not the booths. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, like the boxes or something.
Yeah, but he's come out and made a statement. I need to try and find it. His statement is a bit like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, the what's it? The CEO astronomer. Because do you know what one of my friends said that he found it.
No. Go on, speak. I was going to say.
One of my friends said thinks it's all a PR stunt to get astronomer in the public eye.
Oh.
Because when they want to float the stock market and sell the share, other stuff, having their name mentioned makes a business get. And I'm like, okay, I understand that everything's an opportunity to get famous, but I just don't. Sometimes I think it's pretty much what it is.
That's what it was. He kind of had a dig at Chris Martin.
What did he say?
It was a bit like, oh shit, I need to find it. He was basically saying that, maybe that's not the right thing to do as well. Rather than like he's owning his shit, and then he said, but also Chris Martin, maybe that's not the right thing to do.
I mean,
you went to his concert and started hugging up and kissing up with somebody else. So
I think let's talk about what I hate. That's deflection. Don't try it.
Can you play the reenactment for me as well?
Which one's it?
It's in the chat.
Bring it down to the front of the chat, please.
Okay, cool, no problem. Give me a second.
Otherwise, I'll be scrolling for 10. Oh, and Will Smith said that statement was fake. Apparently, I heard that too.
Was it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't be in a corporate box, because corporate box you will get, because people like to hire the people who are famous who are in or who are in at the concert. That's a benefit for you if you can spot like famous people.
Exactly.
Or people. So I don't know. So that's the part where it could lead into, was this a PR stunt? But it's a shit one anyway.
And how's your wife involved? Or have you told your wife? And what's that about? So then the world thinks that you're a cheater. You're happy with the world thinking you're a cheater, just so that you go up.
And so, like their plan is to do like get an OnlyFans and then all of that kind of crap, and then get notoriety as the couple that cheated and then became. I mean, nothing. Nothing is, if you boil it down, nothing is surprising these days when it comes to how people want their minutes of fame. But to me, it was a very stupid move. I'm just surprised that you would stand up in the front and be like, this is what we're going to do. We are going to. Very stupid. Hold on one sec. Very, very stupid. But yeah.
You're on mute. Wait, keep playing. What have you done? You're on mute. You're on mute. Then stop talking.
I'm just moving my up because I couldn't find the page. There's so many pages open. That's why. But what was I going to say? What's annoying? So whilst I try and find.
Oh, did you stop playing it?
No, I did stop playing it. But
but I wanted to show this bit as well. This is what's funny. You've got a sign that says, "This is my wife." Yeah, people are mocking it all over the world. This one's got 15 million views.
Mate, that's the thing. It's like you're now a world parody. I mean, the fun part is a fun part, but then the real serious part is someone's family's broken down. I don't know if they've got kids, the destruction of a family for reckless behavior. Is it worth it? Who knows? Because the woman, I think the wife has had to take down her Facebook and all that. She hasn't
taken it down. She took his name off of it.
Yeah, or something like that. Charlie, mate. Even Aldi have done one. There's bare AI ones.
Has Aldi done one? No.
But Coldplay songs were labeled as boring a few weeks ago. Great PR stunt. There's that because Casey Ross. Yeah, it's something. It's very, very interesting. Will Smith says, I bet it was on the corporate expense card. Also, it's 1 in a million
Yeah,
chance
isn't it?
you
It's
get
true.
caught on a big screen in a concert, like a crowded event where no one knows you. Seems like a perfect idea for it being a PR stunt. Yeah, so it's a little bit odd, but people are also, sometimes we give people too much credit for not being absolute dumbasses.
Yeah,
and not thinking. Because I don't know, I could talk about people who thought they were smart when it came to cheating, and then did very dumb things.
Everyone thinks they're smart at cheating until they get caught.
Usually
when they get caught, it is the dumbest way.
It's the dumbest way. That part.
It's always the dumbest way.
I always, and I forever will continue to talk about the dickhead that cheated on me and said, "Oh, if this number calls you, don't answer it, bruh."
I know someone that got caught because they had the tracker on their car.
What?
Yeah, you know, like you can see where, like, if your car gets stolen or something, you can track it, innit? So their partner tracked their car and was like, "Why was you here?" And they said, "I wasn't there. I was somewhere else." And they're like, "Well, it says different." Yeah.
It's that when you get caught in a lie, how quickly can you get out of it, and what comes to your mind? But it's just like, you've got to, if you're going to do things that you like that, really plot it out. Really plot it out. I know you can't account for any scenario, but at least have your things. But then also in the moment, you're just like, so maybe it's that.
Stupid.
Waving Cat Design says, yeah, that would be giving them too much credit. It's just arrogance, and obviously they've been doing it for ages. It could just be that they got reckless. Absolutely reckless. All right, welcome, Miss Prestige. Good afternoon. We'll move on from that. Okay, so the next story, this is a lot more serious. So Diane Abbott has been suspended yet again over race comments in a BBC interview. Now, there's a lot of information to get through because I want to break this down very clearly, because first and foremost, I stand with Diane Abbott. So there's that. So Labour MP, or maybe now she's going to be former, she's from the UK, Diane Abbott, has been suspended again.
First black female MP as well, by the way.
After defending past remarks in which she suggested racism faced by black people was different from the prejudice experienced by Jewish, Irish, and traveller communities in a recent BBC interview. So the article that kicked off the whole thing, first and foremost, right? And let's just get the context in full contextuality, because I don't want to have anyone misconstrue or take out context what we're saying and what actually happened. So this is the article from Tomiwa Owolade, who did an article in The Guardian about 2 years ago and saying that racism in Britain is not black and white issue, it's far more complicated. So this, I'm assuming by the name, I'd actually need to pull up what Tomiwa looks like. Let me see, actually, let me go and click on that and see if there's a photo. There isn't a photo of them. And I think he's a guy.
Let's do web search.
Yeah, I will do. Because sometimes they have their picture on their articles. Oh, God, they won't let me read further than this. This is annoying. But anyway, basically, this article in The Guardian said that racism in the UK is not just about black and white. It's also like Jewish people, Gypsy people, travellers also experience the same kind of racism that black people face, or just it's not black and white. So this is who Tomiwa is, by the way, just for context. All right. So that was said. And then Diane Abbott came back and did her own letter in response to this and said, sorry, it's very hard to navigate. In response to Tomiwa's article, share this tab instead. She said, Tomiwa Owolade claims that Irish, Jewish, and traveller people all suffer from racism. They undoubtedly experience prejudice. This is similar to racism, and the two words are often used as if they are interchangeable. It is true that many types of white people with points of difference, such as redheads, can experience this prejudice, but they are not all their lives subject to racism. In pre-civil rights America, Irish people, Jewish people, and travellers were not required to sit at the back of the bus. In apartheid, South Africa, these groups were allowed to vote, and at the height of slavery, there were no white-steaming people manacled on the slave ships. And for this, Diane suffered lots of backlash, and she had to step down. I mean, she was suspended, and some of the reaction to the initial comments from people, from the press and people in the media for what she said. I'm taking my time. So this is what was like a Good Morning Britain segment. So we know on the back of that she got suspended, and then she was reinstated. But recently, she went on an interview with James Naughty on BBC Reflections podcast, and he asked her about what she said, and this is what she said.
You mentioned the Jewish community in your constituency. You got into terrible trouble for a letter you wrote to the Observer about racism, and you appeared to suggest, in the view of some of your critics anyway, that the kind of anti-Semitism that the Jewish community suffered, or travellers suffered, or Irish people suffered, was somehow different from the racism that you as a young black person had suffered. You were suspended and there was a great hoo-ha. Do you look back on that with regret?
No, not at all. Clearly, there must be a difference between racism, which is about colour, and other types of racism, because you can see a traveller or a Jewish person walking down the street. You don't know. You don't know unless you stop to speak to them or you're in a meeting with them. But if you see a black person walking down the street, you see straight away that they're black. They are different types of racism.
But the effect is the same. If you are going to a synagogue on a Saturday morning and you have to have guards outside because some people might come along and want to insult you or even throw things at you, that's pretty much the same as the kind of thing you describe in your book as happening to you as a black person. The fact is, one is a person of colour and one isn't, is neither here nor there. If you suffer it, it's still damaging.
It is here because you can spot that person of colour from hundreds of yards away. That is what is different.
You withdrew the thing. You said, look, if this is misunderstood, as you thought it was, then I apologise for it. But fundamentally, you don't believe you did anything wrong, or you didn't attempt to say something that you didn't believe.
I just think that it's silly to try and claim that racism, which is about skin colour, is the same as other types of racism. I don't know why people would say that.
But you would, I assume, condemn anti-Semitic behaviour in the same way that you would condemn racist behaviour against someone simply because of the colour of their skin.
Well, of course. And I do get a bit weary of people trying to pin the anti-Semitic label on me, because I've spent a lifetime fighting racism of all kinds, and in particular fighting anti-Semitism, partly because of the nature of my constituency.
I want to take you to the internal business that happened.
So that was Diane's recent comments, which has got her resuspended. And this is some of the reaction to this. This is James O'Brien on his radio show.
Has made most conversations more interesting. So Diane Abbott, I don't believe, is anti-Semitic. But I do believe that she had to be suspended from the Labour Party yesterday after withdrawing her apology and her withdrawal of comments that she made a couple of years ago. And shall I tell you what I think happened? I'm going to need a bit of policing today. I'm going to need a bit of tone policing. I've already pointed out that I'm poised to weigh in defence of a middle-aged white man who stands accused of using the N-word, or not defence, but expressing a point of sympathy, whether or not it's right that I should feel sorry for John Turode. But I'm not going to lie to you, at this point in time I do, and I'm across the detail. I think that's quite important. I also, this isn't a boast, this is just an attempt to understand how the media works. I said to colleagues yesterday, I bet he sang along to something. So you read into that, I would probably only one word it could be, or
All right,
to him, or indeed at the fact that he can't remember. I would not be. The front page of the Sun today tells precisely that story. So I'm conscious of the fact that what's the word I want? Is it an inherent bias? White privilege, possibly? Here I am feeling a bit of sympathy for the middle-aged white bloke, and just profound frustration at the at the middle-aged black lady? I don't know. And that's the point about two things can be true at the same time. That may be the correct position to have arrived at. And it has nothing to do with inherent biases or indeed with white privilege. I think Diane Abbott forgot what she wrote. So I think Diane Abbott, when asked if she stood by the comments that she made a couple of years ago, I think in her mind, and this I may be doing her a disservice here, because I'm going to cast some aspersions upon her mental acuity. Yeah. I think she forgot that she essentially equated the Jewish experience to being ginger-haired. And I think that what she remembered was that she claimed being black, being visibly a member of a minority, an ethnic minority, creates a very different environment and a very different experience from signifiers that are not immediately obvious, if you like. For example, being Jewish or being a member of the traveller community. That was the point she made. Jewish people, Gypsy, Roma, traveller, face similar levels of prejudice to people with red hair was such a stupid observation that her apology and withdrawal became immediately inevitable. And I would say that the only thing you can say with certainty today is that she has lied. Because either she lied when she apologised and withdrew the comments, or she lied yesterday when she stood by them, or she forgot what she said the first time round and thought she was defending the, for me, perfectly reasonable observation that being a victim of skin-based racism is an experience that Jewish people and traveller people can't really have. That seems to me to be an observation which gets filed under obvious. So here we are. She has lost the whip again. She lost it 2 years ago, and she's lost it again today. I think I got handed my backside on a plate yesterday when I sought to defend Keir Starmer's suspension of 4 backbenchers who've led and...
So that's about the gist of it, really. What do you think? You're mute.
I think we said at the time where she fucked up is when she tried to equate being Jewish and being from the traveller community with having red hair. Mm. It's not the same thing. As a black person who has experienced racism on all types of levels, I've been spat at, I've been, verbally abused, I've had microaggressions, I've had the whole range of racism attacked at me. And that is because of my skin color. Mm-hmm. I think it is fair to say that your skin color can subject you to racism in a way like it's okay. Let me say it this way. Back in the day, before there was civil rights movements and before there was even freedom for black people, in those days, right, you would have black people who had the ability to pass. And what that means is that they were more white presenting, okay? So they were able to pass off as white people in order to have a better life, in order to not suffer from the effects of racism that are apparent from your skin color. So the idea that it's not a thing, that you having this skin color is not a thing, and it's not, that's ludicrous. Because obviously we experience racism because someone can spot that we're black, not because someone thinks that we're black or because someone speaks to us and realizes that we're black.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And I think that's fair. And I think I know people who are from the traveller community. I know a guy from I know a guy who's from the traveller community, and I know people who are from the Jewish community. And I think that they would say that our racism is something that you can see straight away. And I feel like that's what she was saying. You can't disassociate, or you can't diminish, should I say, the racism that is faced by people who are in the traveller and in the Jewish communities. That is obviously apparent. But I think what Diane was doing was trying to explain that Black racism is something you see straight away, and that's why it happens. How she said it, she messed up how she said it.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about it at the time, that she
Yeah.
messed up how she said it.
I think.
Go on.
Go on.
No,
Go
go
on.
on.
Finish. You said what I go and finish what you were saying.
No, I was just going to say what I don't like is how is the reaction from one Keir Starmer, because there's been people who've made comments about Black people in his party and they've not had the same thing thrown at them. That's what I don't like. There's been people who make comments about Black people and you don't see them. I mean, even what's his name there on LBC, and I like him, to be fair, but even he's like, oh, you know, if someone sang along to a lyric, then surely that should be seen as okay because they didn't know they were singing along. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. I don't expect anyone that I'm with, like, if I'm around my white friends or colleagues and something comes on, I do not expect them to sing along to the N-word. I do not, because I expect to know within your heart and soul that is not something you should say. Much like I'm with Asian people, I'm not about to start saying offensive words. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, I think everything you said, because it's the manipulation of what she said, and she did. I'm not saying that she didn't say what she said, but I can also, you know what it is, when we're podding, when we're talking, when you're having a conversation and you're trying to get someone to understand and empathize, because even bringing it back to our conversation about Essence, and hopefully next week we'll get into it with somebody from America, so make sure you're tuned in for that. But even when we brought in the comparison to Carnival, immediately in the chat, there's people from, apparently, allegedly, people from America saying, it's not the same, why are you dragging Carnival into it? I was like, but no, it's not to say it's the same. It's just to say, in a similar comparison, you can see the parallels of why you could understand where someone's coming from. And sometimes we add on scenarios and stories and viewpoints to help enhance what you're saying. And that's, I think, why she said about, we know that, do you know what? I'm not even going to say we know, because we can have, as Black people, we can have a conversation with a redhead, and a redhead can go through the same level of visible prejudice that we go through, but ours is racism, because for some reason that white people hate a redhead. There's some white people that can't stand a redhead, and some people have been vilified their whole school life and in life because they've got red hair. So
okay, but just to stop you there, I do think it's dangerous to compare that.
No, but let me finish. Before I'm saying that people, so that's why I said the word is prejudice. There's prejudice, which is what Diane was saying, and then there's racism, which is what I clearly said, that there's prejudice and then there's actual racism. It's a different experience. There weren't redhead people enslaved or at the back of the bus or suffering apartheid. That hasn't happened. You got prejudice and targeted, and you could have had levels of and I could say I got beat up for being Black, and someone could say I got beat up for being a redhead, but the experiences and the title of what we both experienced is two different things. And I think that's where Diane was coming from when she was saying the prejudice that Jewish people feel and travelers experience, Jewish people experience and travelers experience is under the umbrella of prejudice, unless, and I do wish she expanded and said, because there are some travelers and Jewish people who have the visible attributes of being Jewish and from a traveler community. You can look at some people and say, I wonder if they're this, and I wonder if they're that. And that's why, and sometimes Jewish people also experience stereotypical enhanced features when people are drawing them or characterizing them. That was a problem with Harry Potter and the bankers and the way they were portrayed. That leaned into some of the negative stereotypes that Jewish people experience when people are stereotyping them and being negative about them. So there are visible attributes that Jewish people have, some Jewish people have, that people automatically use against them to be racist towards them. So, but I do think Diane was, if you're going to say guilty of not expanding on her thoughts, which is what we do in a conversation. But yes, when it's in conversation and in real world, people don't have time to dissect that. So I don't...
Because I think that it's because she did make the connection between someone with red hair and someone with being from a Jewish or traveler community. That is where she fucked up. That's where she fucked up, because what someone who has red hair experiences is, as you said, is prejudice. What someone who is Jewish or from the traveler community experience is racism.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the same racism as us. I think everybody can say that that is true. It is not the same, because ours is based on, you see our skin color straight away, and that is a thing, right? So it's not the same, but they definitely experience racism. And I think what is always being left out of here is Islamophobic racism as well. How come that never gets a mention? Like, it gets a mention amongst people of color, but it doesn't ever get a mention. Why was that not in the thing? Like
well, I suppose because she didn't mention them in her.
No, I know. I mean, like the commentators that were just talking there, they were talking about if you go to a synagogue and stuff like that. But in this country, there is a problem. And I think this is where she was get my interpretation of it as well, was her highlighting how racism works in this country.
Yeah.
In this country, there is a massive problem with racism. And it isn't just about certain sectors. It's, it's you've got Islamophobia, you've got racism, you've got anti-Semitism, you've got people who are against travel. It is a massive thing. But because they don't want to talk about certain parts of racism and they want to overlook it, that's why we have even more of a problem. Because it makes it into a racial Olympics. It does that because they're not addressing everything. Even they said about hierarchy of racism, but it becomes that because they're not addressing everything. You can't address one criteria of racism and not address them all. You can't. How can you look at anti-Semitism, right, and say that this is so bad and this is so wrong, and do all the things that you absolutely should to protect those people. But at the same time, in the same breath, you're not protecting the Black community. You're not talking about the experience of someone who is Asian. You're not talking about the reasons why the Black community have all this prejudice in this country. You're not talking about the reasons why we're told to go back home when this is our home and we built it. You're not talking about those things. So they are the ones that are creating this oppression Olympics.
And I think it's a problem when you have a lot of white people in the room talking about something that they don't experience ever. And also, as Diane was referencing, if you are white presenting, and you spoke about Black people who passed, if you're white presenting, there's a level of racism that you're never going to experience, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Black, whether you're Asian, wherever you're from, if you're a traveler, wherever you're from, and if you can get up and blend into the majority of the country that you're living in, and if it's a Western white country, you are not going to experience life in the same way. So in that room, I think someone said that as a Jewish person, they were offended, but in your day-to-day life, you are not afforded. You might hear things. I'm not going to take away from what you might hear when people saying casual racial slurs. But on a day-to-day, you wake up, you go out in the world, no one is coming for you and telling you anything because of how you present. So when you have a room full of white people, and as James O'Brien was kind of opining, was he speaking from a position of white male privilege or not? And because he feels sorry for James. And you will feel an affinity to your fellow white man. It is what it is. We all feel affinity to whoever we are from the community that we're from. But it's a problem when you're in the room and having these conversations because none of you can ever know. And a lot of you don't. With her suspension, I'm not going to defend Kia, or I'm not going to defend the suspension, but I do understand when you're in a position of power, you act first and figure it out. But there should be those two obviously don't like each other, but there should be a show of support. If it's not, I don't know. I guess as a leader, it's difficult because you've got to make sure that you're covering all bases. Because
that's the part, and that's what I don't think he is doing.
No, he's not.
Like, I'm not gonna say that he shouldn't have exactly like you. I'm not gonna say he shouldn't have suspended her because I can understand, why he would do that. But what I would like to see is the same vim for everybody else, and I don't think he has that. No, and back to what we were talking about. The problem is also education. We are taught about the atrocities of the Holocaust, and rightly so. We're taught that. What we're taught about Black history is to forget about it. Yeah. What we're taught is that we don't need to talk about it anymore. What we're taught is that why should we talk about something that happened hundreds of years ago in order to make sure that it's understood, and in order to make sure that these things don't happen again, in order to in order to destroy racism and the tools that people have. That's why it's important. So it's just very difficult. I can't agree with everything that Diane said because of the context in which she said it. I definitely can't. But what I can say is that as a Black person who's experienced racism, I know why. They saw me as a Black person walking down the street and they chose to spit on me. Yeah, multiple times because I'm Black. They called me a Black. See you next Tuesday. That's what they said because they can see it. Yeah.
Will Smith says, AK, you're missing a vital piece of the story. She retracted the remarks and said the letter was sent by mistake. Absolutely, that was one of the things. As in her apology, said it was a wrong draft that was sent. And the thing is, I'm going to give her grace because you're under pressure. Sometimes that's why now 2 years later, fuck it. I'm standing by what I'm saying. In the moment, you're pressured to apologize. You're scared. I'm going to speak for her. And she's a big grown woman. She's 70 soon, as they said. So I know maybe fear isn't the thing, but I don't care. As a human being, you're going to be panicked. You're going to be like, oh shit, you're going to have all that. You're going to have people, your PRs, all this. You're in the public eye. You're a very noted, vilified politician. You're going to have a stress moment. So you're going to be like, okay, what can I say? What can I say? How do I do it? What do I do? So you're going to panic and say some crazy stuff. And maybe she shouldn't have said it was a draft. She shouldn't have said that. She possibly should have said 10 turns down and said, actually, this is what I meant. And this is what I stand on. So 2 years later, you're not having to say, do you know what? This is how I felt. Because in the moment, at that point, it's like, this is what I said. This is what I meant. And if you're going to suspend me on true facts. And this is exactly what I meant. But she's also probably damn fucking tired of having to explain herself all the time. Because as she said, she's been an advocate for anti-racism for all people. She's been renowned. She's walked. She's marched. She's fought. She's debated. She's been cussed out. This woman has been racially dogged.
That like there's someone recently said that I would kill her, or that people should kill her.
She's released how many times that she's been attacked, and I actually think she might have even been physically attacked or racially attacked. Anyway, whatever the case is, this woman's been doing this shit for time, and it doesn't excuse when she makes a mistake. That's not what anyone's saying, but the woman must be tired. And at this point, I'm tired of explaining myself, because if you can't see what I've done and what I mean, then you just want to hate me.
Keir Starmer doesn't want to see. He doesn't.
Yeah. Rachel Johnson, Stephanie Morgan says, Rachel Johnson hit the nail on the head on the LBC. She sided with Diane. I can't read out anything you guys are saying about the community in the way that you're saying it, so I'm going to miss those. I'm just making you know that I see what you're saying. Isn't the same. Strike 22 says, your aunties could never. Isn't this the same guy that got Sangeeta Miska fired and they put a gag order to stop her from talking? Keir Starmer got, is that who you're talking about? Suspended? Because there's a bunch of backbenchers that are being suspended for standing up for their views. And that's what's happening. And, look, we talk, Jeremy Corbyn's been, he's been ostracized and accused of being anti-Semitic. And again, I can't get into all of that because who the hell knows? And again, we're not also speaking for a community that we're not from. So I cannot speak to because there are some things that people say that people from the Jewish community say, no, these are casual, and there is casual language in what we say in our day-to-day lexicon that when they break it down and speak about it, it's like, oh, right, I didn't even know that was offensive. I've learned over the years that common things that we use as phrases, the English language phrases that we have grown up saying, didn't even know they're anti-Semitic. I didn't know that as a child, and it's only as an adult when I started to understand, oh, that is aligned with Jewish people. Never knew that. So there's things that we're all learning because they weren't necessarily as obvious slurs. So there's things that Jewish people have said. I'm like, oh, rah, that's a learning curve for me. So not going to take away from anything that people have experienced with the community. Jordan Parker says religious persecution is different from them. Racial prejudice, pro-abortion people, doctors and nurses are targeted and executed in America. You have to research that. Will Smith says Diane isn't an auntie at this point. She's mummy and she shouldn't step down before the last election. The last time I saw her in public, she looked in pretty bad health. So maybe you're saying she should have stepped down? I mean, yeah.
People have been talking about if she's okay for a while. In all honesty, they have. And maybe it's that, but.
And Will Smith is coming for us, saying, messing up how she said it. A politician of 40 years, Oxbridge graduate, just misspoke in print. But she didn't, I don't think she misspoke. And I think print, you have a certain amount of words. I don't think she misspoke. She didn't expand. So I don't even think she made a mistake in what she's saying. She didn't expand her point. Like when I was speaking, I have got the room and the floor to expand my point, to give more clarity and context to what I think she meant, because she has time to, in an op-in, in a piece, which you could argue, why did she do it? She shouldn't have said anything. Or
there's that part. Why did she do it? There is definitely that part.
And Rianne says, true, wording not great. Part of the outrage seems excessive, though. And that's what happens when it comes to this particular conversation. And as Farah said, the backlash, the anger, the reaction, the action, the punishment, so much huger than when it's towards anybody else, literally any other community. And that then ties into the stereotypes that Jewish people are pushing against because they don't like that. They don't. That stereotype is something that Jewish people fight so hard to have.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, anything that happens in this way, whether it is the harshest of things or to the, I say lighter of things, where it's not even that, the full arm of the law is put down on people because of it, because of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is like the highest order of racism when it comes to the hierarchy of what's viewed as racist. And we have the N-word adjacent, but it still doesn't carry the same blackout power. Or
the same weight at all.
No. And I don't know what that is. I don't know how to argue that. And I don't know. I actually would love to have speak to someone from the Jewish community about that. Actually, for News and Nonsense, anyone in the Jewish community that happens to watch News and Nonsense, let's have a chat, because I think it would be great to understand. And I'd like someone that's fair-minded, that can be objective with their commentary. Will Smith said she hasn't been the same since bruising elections in 2017. Jordan Parker said, I've never looked at a person and wondered what religion they are, and redheads have always been the most beautiful of the Caucasian races. I think it's jealousy from their fellow people. I can never understand, because as a hairdresser as well, when you get a good head of red hair, wow, they got amazing hair. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a hair strength. All right, so yeah, I think that's it. Serena says, I met Diane Abbott last year at the British Book Festival, and I believe she needs to sit down. She is frail, and I'm worried about her health. And we do say sometimes, certain age, let's give it up. We would like some political leaders to take a seat. We would. We say that. So, all right. So moving on. So another story. We have the Malian government helicopters have landed without warning at Barrick Gold's Lulu Guntokoto mine in Mali and left with over a metric ton of gold. So Mali helicopters seized $117 million worth of gold, taking gold back from the Barrick mine, escalating tensions between the West African government and the Canadian mining giant. The dispute follows months of blocked exports and detentions of Barrick staff. Now, Barrick is a Canadian gold company, and it's an age-old thing of Western companies extracting resources to make themselves rich, and the country that they're taking the resources from, not so much. This is a little bit of an overview of what's happening. Let's get into it.
Crack. Because now, it's not the African government feeling powerless. It's the Western company. Recently, something extraordinary happened in Mali. The authorities there sent a military helicopter roaring toward a gold mining site operated by Barrick Gold, a Canadian giant that's been mining in Mali since 2015. When the helicopter touched down, soldiers moved swiftly. They airlifted $117 million worth of gold out of the site. And Barrick Gold? They could do absolutely nothing to stop it. So the question is, why did the Malian authorities take such a bold step? What pushed them to confront a Western heavyweight in such dramatic fashion? Just a few days ago, something extraordinary unfolded in Mali. A military helicopter painted in brown and green camouflage made an unexpected landing at Barrick Gold Corporation's mine. It touched down on the tree-lined airstrip of the Lulo Gunkoto gold mine, catching everyone off guard. From the helicopter stepped officials from the Malian government. They were quickly escorted by the mine's security team to the processing plant, straight to the place known as the Gold Room. But these officials weren't there for a routine inspection. They were there for the gold. According to reports, about 5 hours after landing, the helicopter took off again, carrying with it gold bullion worth a staggering $117 million. After the incident, Barrick Gold released a statement confirming what had happened. They said the helicopters had landed unannounced and seized over 1 metric ton of gold, roughly 2,204 pounds. The company admitted the situation was fluid and the ultimate intent behind the action remained unclear. But there's more to the story. Just last month, a Malian court appointed a provisional administrator to restart operations at the country's largest gold mining site. For nearly 6 months, Barrick Gold had suspended activities there. The provisional administrator, Soumana Makaji, who once served as Mali's health minister, announced his plans to fund the mine's revival by selling gold directly, and that's why the helicopter came. The $117 million worth of gold wasn't just a random seizure. It was a desperate move to generate cash and breathe life back into Mali's gold operations, independent of foreign control. For the first time in a long time, it was an African government, not a Western company, calling the shots. However, Barrick Gold isn't staying silent. In a statement, the company declared that any plan by Mali's provisional administrator to restart operations or sell gold from the site would be not only illegitimate, but also ill-advised. But no matter what Barrick Gold says, the writing is on the wall. The gold will be sold. The bigger question is why? Why this sudden clash between Barrick Gold and Mali's military authorities? Why did Barrick Gold decide to suspend operations at the Loulo-Gounkoto mine in the first place? And what exactly does Mali hope to achieve by taking matters into its own hands? To understand this standoff, we have to go back to 2023. Mali, like its neighbor Burkina Faso, stands among Africa's top gold producers. But its wealth goes far beyond gold. Beneath Malian soil lies an untapped treasure of manganese and lithium, minerals crucial for the world's transition to clean energy. Yet these resources remain largely unexplored. Gold, however, has long been the lifeblood of Mali's economy. According to the country's former mines minister, gold accounts for a massive 25% of Mali's national budget, 75% of its export earnings, and around 10% of its entire GDP. That statistic alone tells you just how vital this single resource is for Mali's survival and future. Yet, like so many African countries, Mali's mining sector has been dominated for decades by foreign players. Western mining giants have ruled the industry since independence. Canadian firms like Barrick Gold and B2 Gold, Australia's Resolute Mining, and Britain's Hummingbird Resources. For years, they've extracted wealth from Mali's soil, leaving many Malians wondering how much of that gold truly stays in the country, and how much flows quietly out to foreign bank accounts. Now, with a new government in charge and growing calls for sovereignty, Mali appears determined to rewrite that script. For Colonel Assimi Goïta, Mali's transitional president, achieving true independence for his country isn't just about politics, it's about economic sovereignty. And in Mali, that starts with taking back control of its gold. So, in August 2023, Colonel Goïta made a bold move. He signed a brand new mining code into law, a law that all foreign mining companies operating in Mali are now required to follow. But before drafting this new code, Goïta launched an audit into Mali's gold mining sector. What he discovered was nothing short of shocking. The audit revealed that every year, Mali was losing between $500 million and $1 billion in mining revenues. Imagine what that kind of money could do for Mali's economy. Schools, hospitals, roads, jobs, a future. It's no wonder Goïta decided something had to change. Under the new mining code, the Malian government can now take up to a 35% stake in all new mineral projects. It also allows the state to collect higher revenues from the gold industry, a sector that has long been dominated by foreign interests. But that's where the trouble began. Barrick Gold has flatly refused to accept the new rules. The company argues that the Loulo-Gounkoto mines should remain under the old mining code, the one in force when their operations first began. Under that old code, Barrick Gold was allowed to own 80% of the Loulo-Gounkoto mine, while Mali was restricted to a maximum stake of just 20%. Even more troubling, the old code exempted Barrick from paying taxes while the mines were operating. For Mali's new leadership, this arrangement is unacceptable. But for Barrick Gold, the stakes are enormous. And so, the standoff continues, a clash between an African nation determined to claim its own wealth and a Western mining giant fighting to protect its profits.
The video is long, so it's 20 minutes. But what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are the country that they're in can impose whichever laws and restrictions and legislations that they want. You are a foreigner in their country doing business. They are allowed to do that. Sorry, not sorry. How can you be telling them that you can make 20% while we make 80%? How can you say that to them? And it's not like, this is the other thing, yeah? Who's working those mines?
1 second, got to pause. Welcome, Alexandra, new member. Hi. Thanks for joining. And Rianne, thanks, gave us a £10 super sticker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rianne.
Pass the plate. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome, and thank you for the super sticker. But yeah, go on. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, who's working in these mines? So one, the mine is in a different country, okay?
Yeah.
The people working in the mines don't make much money. and you, as the organization who are running, who own, in inverted commas, the mines, you are happy, you want to take 80%, and you don't accept this new policy. You have to accept new policies, just much like Donald Trump is enforcing new policies in his country about foreign companies and what they can and can't do. Mali is. That's it. That is it.
Straightforward and up and down. It's going to be interesting to see the fallout. Definitely when they were saying about the profits, like that 35% and retaining the amount of money, the amount of millions that they're losing because you are just and it's the audacity that you don't care. 80% is fine, 20% is fine. You don't care. The arrogance, it should be under the old rule. Yeah, and I'm sure you want slavery back too.
Colonial rule, exactly.
As well.
And they don't pay taxes.
And you don't pay taxes.
They take 80%.
And you can see, because you can see the disparity. You can see what's going on in our back home countries. The infrastructure is not 100%. Some people are cool, some people are not, but the majority are not. The infrastructure in Africa is decimated because of what happened, right? Because of colonization and slavery. And even the terrain, the weather, environment, everything is different. So we got even just recently, Nigeria's former president just passed away in a UK hospital. Why? Because a lot of the corrupt ones have to travel to Western countries to get medical care because they can't stay at home and get the proper medical care at home. And that's a problem. Yes, that's a problem with corrupt leaders that funnel resources out of the country instead of putting it back into the country, but also because the continent is being drained of resources by Western companies that give not a fuck and are happy to take the money out of the country. And as this Barrett punk is saying, yeah, it's okay not to pay my taxes to a country that's estimating.
In these Western countries, right, they put themselves first. They make sure that, okay, I'm not going to make out like everything's gravy here because it isn't. But the infrastructure around these Western countries is a lot different because they make money and they feed it into the economy. Okay, so why is it not acceptable for a African country to actually put that African country first and to make sure that if they are going to do business with these people, that it is of some benefit to them? 20% is not of benefit to them. They're not able to do anything. They're not able to achieve. They're not able to get out of the ruts that they're in, even though they have all of this gold. The gold is theirs.
And that's the point. The lithium and the other mineral that they said, and what's going on in the Congo. Imagine everything that is ours. We own it.
And you're telling us how to use it. We can't go to America, right, and start telling you lot where to dig for fucking oil and shit like that. We can't.
Imagine if me and you just went over and just like, all right, found this piece of land in Texas and start drilling. Do you know how we'd even just get arrested before we even open a drill packet? Once I tore open the packet of my drill, we'd be like, can you
like, what are you doing? You foreigner can't come here and do that. But I own this. I bought this piece of land for 50 pence.
Exactly. Dammy J, thank you. Hello, ladies. Let me kickstart something on my special day. Mali, viva la revolution. Is it your birthday today, Dammy? Or are you celebrating Mali's in the revolution?
Yeah, either way, hey,
we're with you. We stand with you. Yay. Lovely. Thank you so much. Absolutely nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. And I'm actually, stand by it. And I'm interested in what Traore is doing. All the African leaders that are standing up and waking up and unclogging their eyes. And we also know, and I'm fearful of what the West, because when the West is like a bitter ex-girlfriend or a bitter not even just ex-girlfriend, because boyfriends are violent.
Boyfriend.
Yes, that violent, crazy partner that can't take no for an answer. That's my fear, because they will start turning on. And hopefully I can find it next time around. But I found an article or a video talking about the difference between Western debt and African debt, for example. And at Western debt, they were saying that it's in their own currency. And so they can just make more. So that it doesn't matter. They don't pay attention. But say, for example, African debt is debt in the currency of the country that they're indebted to. So they're forever taxed to pay it. It's just, the disparity is wild. It's rude. I don't know what happens when you don't pay. Just don't pay. Just don't pay. I kind of just don't want to pay.
They probably clap your country.
They will. It's Dammy's birthday. Happy birthday, Dammy.
Happy birthday, Dammy.
Happy birthday, Dammy. Happy birthday. Thanks. Welcome. How old are you? Are we allowed to ask that? Okay, but you don't have to share it. Have a blessed day, and thanks for joining us on your birthday. That's fun. Thank you. And thank you. You're imagine us giving us a birthday present on your day. Bless you, bless you.
I know, bless you. We should be giving you a present.
Right. It was us, by the way.
So in Guyana, obviously in Guyana, they've got all this. They found all this oil, and they can, Guyana is the only country in the world, by the way, that is 100% or can be 100% self-sufficient. They don't. Yeah. It came out the other day. They don't need to import or export anything. They can do it all themselves.
Oh, wow.
Only country in the world. And you have the Western world coming for Guyana because Guyana are like, no, we will dictate what we do. And then they're saying to them, but aren't you scared of all the, what's the word I'm looking for? All the, oh shit, what is it? This is what happens when you're 48. The effect on the environment. That's it. Shouldn't you be cautious of the effect on the environment? Yeah. And then Guyana, I love the Guyanese president. He's basically like, no, because we have this much majority of the world's rainforest and we protect it. What do you do? Yeah. So
it's the patronize. Patronize when they're talking to us, African and Caribbeans. It's the patronize that you can't. I was going to go into something else, but this actually leads into the story that that is an ongoing one, where the British Museum refuses to return the looted Benin bronzes to Nigeria. The British Museum stated it cannot permanently return the looted Benin bronzes to Nigeria due to legal restrictions under the British Museum Act of 1963. The response comes after the Netherlands returned 119 artifacts, the largest physical repatriation of Benin items to date. The 1963 Act prohibits disposal of items in the collection. It's so damn rude. I found a video. I don't remember it to this in this way, but let's see, because it's the fact
that they're saying, oh no, sorry, before you play it, it's the fact that they're saying, oh no, sorry, it's the law. It's not us. We'd love to return it to you, but it's this law that we made up in 1960 something, however many years after we actually stole your shit. It's the law. It's out of our hands. We couldn't possibly.
It's the fact. It's so wild. But anyway, let's go.
And welcome to my channel. Today I want to react to this BBC interview of this British culture minister who is asked, will they return the stolen artifacts back to Nigeria?
The artifacts removed from the King of Benin's palace ended up in the British Museum. Campaigners have made repeated calls for their return.
Here I spoke to the Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, and I began by asking him whether he thought the stolen Benin bronzes should be owned by Nigeria.
Well, I think that they properly reside in the British Museum. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't work with the government in Nigeria to see how we can share it with them.
Yes, that's what usually happens, right? If somebody steals your car and you catch that person, and then when you try to get the car back, he goes, you know what, I'm willing to work with you and we can share this car.
Forgive me, and I understand sharing, but they were stolen. Do you not think that they should be owned by the people that they were stolen from in the first place?
Well, I think the problem with this, and of course, if we go back to things that happened in the 19th century and judge them by our values of today, it's completely unacceptable. But my concern about this is, where do you actually draw the line with this? The collections of our great national institutions have been developed over many, many centuries, in many times in questionable circumstances. I think the question now is about what we do with these. I love the Benin bronzes. I've seen them many times throughout my life, and I think them being in the British Museum, which is a world repository of heritage, allows people to see it. But that doesn't stop it.
What annoys me the most is
pause it. The audacity. Oh well, you know, like more people will see it if it's kept here. And how far do we go back? You know, like lots of things were taken out when they shouldn't have been. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking ludicrous. The reason why they're chatting that shit is because they know if they were to go down this route, and return all of the things that are in the British Museum would be empty. because there's not a thing that is made here. Do you know what I mean? Like down to the fucking royal, the stolen jewels of the royal crowns and all of that, the crown jewels. Sorry, all of that fucking shit. There is nothing here because I can't speak. It is the what is it? Not soils. What is it?
Stolen.
No.
Spoils of war.
Thank you. It's the foils of war. Sorry, it's the spoils of war. But it is funny to me that they can't see that maybe this shit should go back to where it's owned.
Honestly,
where it actually comes from. Why can you not see that? But yet, for all, if we were to clap something from them, like let's say, for example, let
me play this. Let's get into it. Let me play this. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Well, what happened was wrong even then.
Let me see what else.
And it's wrong now. And today, you have my stolen artifacts. Can I have them back? And then he goes, where do you draw the line? Everything we have is stolen. And we have been stealing for a long time. Basically saying that if we give these Nigerians their artifacts back, where there are going to be people from all over the world coming, what we do when the Indians ask their stuff back. People from Ghana, and all these other places, from South Africa. We've been stealing for centuries. Everything we have, we got by questionable means. And then he goes and he says, I love them. Nobody cares if you love them or if you hate them. No one cares. I have seen them many times throughout my life. Well, the people whose heritage is them white.
Sharing it.
Okay, but ownership is key, right? And the Nigerians say,
Go back a little bit.
From sharing it.
We care that if you get to see it, we don't.
From sharing it.
Okay, but ownership is key, right? And the Nigerians say that when they get them back, they would almost certainly be happy to loan them back to you. But the fundamental problem is that they were stolen from the Nigerians and they want to own them.
I completely accept that they were acquired at a time of rampant colonial expansion in Africa, in circumstances that I'm not in any way going to sort of defend or condemn with the values of the 21st century. I think, though, the more important question is how we ensure that the world can enjoy this marvelous heritage.
A letter will soon be sent, mandated under international law by the Nigerian government, to the British Museum, formally requesting return. You and I know that would also require laws, the Heritage Act and the British Museum Act, to be revoked or at least amended. Is that a realistic prospect?
No, we have no plans for doing that.
We have no plan of doing the right thing. We have no plan of returning what we stole. I'm not defending what happened. We just acquired certain artifacts. But it's a fancy word, acquired. It's a nice way. The Nigerian government said that.
There you go. Anyway, because...
But yeah, the important thing to note is that he said, I'm not defending or condemning with today's language. That's what he said. Because, and it's this idea that, let it be here so that people can see it. It's a renowned museum. People come from all over the world to see it. So why not give it back to the Nigerians? Let them put it in their museum. Let them benefit from people all around the world wanting to see these artifacts in their country. Let them benefit from the tourism that brings. Let them fucking benefit from that. And yes, like the guy in the video said, they are shit scared that everybody else in the world will say, give me back my thing.
And the British Museum will be fucking empty, be rattling around like night of the museum when everything's coming to life. There's nothing there, nothing left, just dust balls and a few old stones, maybe Stonehenge. You can pick that up and put that. Imagine if we wanted to come and collect Stonehenge. Imagine that. Well, you know what? I think Stonehenge is quite powerful. I'm going to put it in a little garden in Accra. How about that? Like it's the audacity, and it's with a smile, with a wink and a smile, which is how they bloody fooled us anyway. Oh no, that charm offensive that white folks do, that British.
I love it.
It's like it's tired. Why the fuck is your enjoyment more important than the people that actually? And the thing is, I spoke to my friend's sister. I'm gonna definitely try and get her on the show because she works with jewelry. She works with artifacts. And she's working in Ghana as well. She was part of the conversation about the fact that the UK is loaning Ghana back our gold that they stole. It's loaning it. It's in Kumasi right now. They've loaned it back. That in itself pisses me right off to my craw. And what she was saying, like, even some of these artifacts, the historical, powerful meaning that, you know, why sometimes we might say that Black people, we're so discombobulated, and why the bad things happen to us in such a disproportionate way, because we have been removed from our soil and our artifacts and our spirituality and our religions, religions. That at the end of the day, not disparaging anyone's beliefs or anything like that, but our religions, because the white folks came to our countries and said, this is voodoo, this is evil, this is nonsense, they demonized what we find true, our spirituality, and enforced their Western, well, not necessarily Western, but they forced Christianity on us, made us do away and disbelieve in what we find true.
The fucked up thing about Christianity,
had our spirituality removed from us. We've had our soil stolen from us.
Yeah.
People that are in touch with their soil and their artifacts, trust me, there are more powerful people. There are more together people.
But even Christianity has been manipulated, because it didn't start in the Western world.
No, it didn't.
Do you know what I mean? It started in the Middle East. Even that's been manipulated. But back to what you were saying about the loaning of things. That to me is the wildest thing ever. You're saying that Sistrin.
And thank you so much. And the worst kind of thief is one who can look in your eye and defend their thievery, Sistrin. On God. That. Thank you and thank you.
This is what they do all the time when it comes to our shit. They want us to forget that they stole people. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they want us to forget that they stole the things that these people had. It's
crazy.
And they'll say it to us with a straight face, like, why don't you understand it? We love it.
Smiling.
Yeah.
I could not have done that interview. I couldn't have done that interview because that guy had power and strength, because I could not have.
Yeah.
And you're laughing. Who are you laughing at, fam? What's funny? I would love to, because I love them. I've seen them multiple times. But as a fucking Nigerian, because also as a fucking Nigerian in Nigeria, actually even seen them for themselves. Do they? No, because
they may not ever see them for themselves.
Ever. Imagine
to come to this country. Why is it that there's thousands of millions of Nigerians who may not be able to come here, might not even want to fucking come here,
and won't be allowed to come here,
might not be allowed to come here, that can't see the things that are theirs.
Their own thing.
You want to mock us. You want to mock us as well. You want to mock our traditions. You want to mock our facial features. You want to parody them, but you want to keep them in museums and say that aren't they great?
This is a thing. This is when you know, because this is when you know when someone tells you, when someone says, "Oh, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly." These times now they're like, "Oh my God, they're so pretty. I'm jealous of them." That's literally what it is. Your shit, this voodoo, this booger stuff that you're doing. We're gonna take your shit though, because you know that once it's back, and listen, once all our artifacts are back in their rightful place, trust me, watch us all float. Trust me, what will happen? That is what they know. That is what they know. That's what they saw. That's what they stole. That's why they stole it. They know what will happen when we get our shit back. The way that Africans and Caribbeans will rise, and how the true ascension, the true realization will happen. That is why they've displaced us and displaced our artifacts. Ava J says, "I just wish all Africa and the diaspora would file a class action lawsuit for the years of wrongdoings." The day they do that. Miley says, "Whenever Africans even talk about independence, the West get discombobulated and panic mode is initiated." 100%. What else? These people are unhinged. Absolutely, Rianne. They are unhinged. Everyone except the Edo people can see those bronzes. Exactly, the son of Queen Idia says. Man's Waving Cat Design said what you said, Farah. Man scared the museums will be emptied as all the items go back to their homelands. 100%. Maya says it took some time, but Benin got their art pieces back. Exactly, give back our things. Yvonne says they've so much stolen items there, they didn't even realize their own employee had stolen thousands of artifacts from them. That part. Sistrian A says, "My late pops never took us to the British Museum and told us never to go there. He said it was a collection of the evil the British did across the world as trophies of their evil acts. It's shameful." But to be fair, do you know what? I actually do want to, maybe that should be one of our trips, but we would be so rowdy. Maybe that's a group trip with our members. Let's go down to the British Museum and see what's ours and just make mental notes. But I feel like we'd be very rowdy, because
I've taken my daughter there before, and we've literally gone around and just been like, This
The hell?
Disgusting.
The hell?
It's disgusting.
Heather says, every day I stand with what Farah says on each podcast with her chest every time. Yes, man. Auntie Farah does not play. Jordan Parker says he acts like people can't visit a museum in Ghana. And that's the cheek of it. Because I think even in all these times, and we've talked about this a few times, some of the clips are even saying with their chest, well, will you look after it? Do you know how to look after it? And the thing is, there is a learning on how to preserve stuff. There is a learning. And because these are used, I think there's a different perspective on preservation of historical artifacts. I think definitely from back home, because I think it's something that we use. So you're not thinking in museum terms, because the West have got such a history of stealing and taking and doing stuff. They put things in glass boxes because that's all they know to do with that mindset. People that actually use the artifacts, you're not thinking about preserving, you're thinking about this is actually something that we use on a day-to-day. So the idea of historically preserving something for the future reference, I don't think that necessarily was in people's forefront at the time. We've come hundreds of years forward, so there would probably be a mentality. That's what I don't like. The West acting like, well, this is what we do and this is how we do it. You're trying to act like no one else would have come up with the idea themselves. Leave us alone. We would have done shit because we were doing shit when you weren't there. Might be different speeds, might be different angles, different perspectives, but it's not like black folks didn't come up with shit. We make the fuck out lemonade out of you giving us stones.
Also, who fucking made it?
Oh.
Who made it? We made it. What makes you think that you need to explain to us how to look after our fucking things? Ridiculous.
100%. Sistrin says, well, like, why is a tomb body of Tutankhamun on display? Can Ghana?
Why is it on display? Am I able to go and dig up fucking Henry VIII and put him in the middle of the museum? I can't do that, can I?
Exactly what Sistrin said. Can we dig up King George so we can display it in our museum? Let's do. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm going to take a couple Stonehenge tablets, put them under my arm, take them to Ghana. Why not? Let the Ghanaians see these stones.
Yes.
Let's see.
Let's do that. In fact, let's do that. Let's take Henry VIII's body, and let's go and put it in a museum in Ghana or Nigeria or anywhere in Africa, so the African people can experience what you're experiencing. Let's do that. Or let's swap it and put it back in Egypt. Let's do that. Let's put Henry VIII's body or Queen Elizabeth I or any of those fucking cunts. Pardon my French. Let's put them on display in a museum in Egypt. Let's do that.
I think that's a campaign. I think if you do that,
or is that desecration of the bodies?
It might be, but it's not. It doesn't apply because different language. So far, don't say that about us because it's different. It's different. It's different. Ava says this is what aggravates me about the West. Complaining about immigration, you're stealing people's resources, then complaining that when they migrate to the places their resources are going to, and that, bruv. When we have our conversation about the diaspora wars as well next week, hopefully it'll be next week. This is a thing. The fundamental underlying problem. You're desecrating and destroying our land, stealing shit, not paying your taxes, making millions and billions, because I'm sure Mr. Barrack is a fucking billionaire.
Of course he is.
Off minerals and stuff of a country that needs resources. Like I said, we have a lot of our leaders that come out of their country to get Western fucking medical care because their infrastructure is fucked. And I don't remove responsibility, but we also know how the system's set up. Mm-hmm. We also know how the system's set up. And Miley said they just want control of Black and brown history. Absolutely 100%. Not. Let's see. Where's Killmonger when you need him? And this
is the other thing as well to bear in mind. Yeah, you know when they have this narrative of we were uncivilized before them and we didn't have any creativity and all of this shit. If this was the case, bruv, why have you got all our shit?
That's what I'm saying. If we're so primitive and ignorant and booga just standing with bones in our noses and boiling people, why the fuck have you got our shit? Why did you use us as workhorses to build your shit?
Yeah,
why? Oh, I could go on. That man needed a slap from here. He needed his whole face.
Hand as well. You know when it should have been, like that show where it's like they're slapping each other.
Yeah, the slap show.
Should have been able to do that.
One of them knocks that.
Yeah.
In the middle of his forehead.
We're not going to do that at all. No, we're not going to do that.
Hey, we can't. I love going.
I've seen it so many times. It's the fact that he had the audacity to say that.
I need to cuss him a little bit more. I need to bring him back and cuss him a little bit more because his fucking face needs a slap 1,000 times.
I've seen it so many times. I love them.
He's a dickhead. He's actually a dickhead. I think like no, I have to show him again, just a little bit. I just have to show him again because he's a punk motherfucker. Where's he again? Where is he? Let's go to him again.
I think that they properly reside in the British Museum. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't work with the government in Nigeria to see how we can share it with them.
Yes.
Share it.
Share it.
Share it.
You guys are going in. You're cracking me up.
Line with it.
Hi, honey.
Hello. It was the booga wooga, the ooga booga. I was literally like, oh my god.
This motherfucker punk's got us mad.
Bitch ass bitch.
Bitch ass trick motherfucker bitch. Hate him. Hate him. Properly reside, you know.
Properly reside.
Punk. The story was the British Museum refusing to return looted items. Because we talked about the Barrick gold and the Mali taking back their gold. So then it led into this about fucking British Museum saying, "No, actually, we can't give back the stuff that we've loaned." And hopefully, when I get my friend Emma in to come and chat about these things.
Yes, please. I would love to hear from somebody who knows all of the dealings and can explain how they get away with this.
Right.
Truly, like where's the laws that all of the other communities like Nigeria, Ghana, Greece even, that they could use in order to get their stuff back?
Yeah.
Right. So moving on, that guy needs such a
Hello everybody. Hello. Oh,
welcome. We've had some lovely. It's Dammy J's birthday, and she actually gifted us today. Sister A has gifted us. We've got a new member. It's been a very nice afternoon.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. And happy birthday, Dammy. Happy birthday.
Yes. All right. So the next thing is Trump's afoot. Trump is out there. Allegedly. So CBS has cancelled the Stephen Colbert Late Show amid a Trump era merger scrutiny, right? So scrutiny. CBS has announced it will end the Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2026, despite it being its top-rated show in its time slot. The network says the decision was financial, but critics point to political pressure and an ongoing merger with a Trump-linked media company. Now, this is important because, as we know, Trump is getting out there, getting his suing fingers if you talk about him in that respect. So I'm going to share this. I've got, me, I think I've got it set up to the right one. So yeah, here we go. Ooh. Sorry, bear with. My screen's gone mad. Yeah.
Will be ending the Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of the Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
That was nearly 24 hours ago, and we should note that the Late Show is being canceled after 30 years. So the question is still out there without real answers. Was it really all about money, as the company says, or could presidential politics, particularly President Trump's politics, have played a role here? Now, President Trump himself posted that he, quote, absolutely loves that show hosted by Stephen Colbert, loves that it was canceled, I should say, while also hitting the show for its ratings. Ratings which have, we should note, they're pretty high. I think the highest of any of the late night hosts. And it all comes 2 weeks after CBS's parent company, Paramount, agreed to pay President Trump $16 million to settle a 60 Minutes lawsuit amid a merger. Colbert criticized that just 2 days before he was informed about his cancellation.
Now, I believe that this kind of complicated financial settlement with a sitting government official has a technical name in legal circles. It's big fat bribe. Because this all comes as Paramount's owners are trying to get the Trump administration to approve the sale of our network to a new owner, Skydance.
Now, CBS, again, says the decision was purely financial. And for years, there has been a warning, lots of warning signs about late night's decline. Ratings, generally speaking, have begun to shrink as the way that people consume television has changed a lot. Ad revenue has declined 50% over the last 6 years. Brian Stelter joins our panel, and I'm going to start with you, Brian. What more are you learning? I know you've been talking to people inside CBS and in and around CBS all day.
And even on background, even when you grant these sources anonymity to speak more candidly, they insist this really was financial. At least the financials are a pretext. There is also, though, a question about whether the future owners of CBS maybe wanted Colbert out of the picture. Now, one of the arguments I've heard today, Diana, is, hey, if this was politically motivated, we wouldn't be leaving Colbert on the air for 10 more months. And that's an interesting point. You know, Colbert's contract does not end until May. The Late Show will not end until next May. So Colbert will have 10 more months to roast President Trump and members of the Trump administration. That said, however, this does, I think today, as people process this, you can sense there's a little bit of a chilling effect or concern about a chilling effect. The Writers Guild of America, which represents writers who work on the show, they are out with a pretty bold statement this afternoon calling on the New York State Attorney General to investigate the matter. Here's a part of the statement. Quote, given Paramount's recent capitulation to President Trump in the CBS News lawsuit, the Writers Guild has significant concerns that the Late Show's cancellation is a bribe, sacrificing free speech to curry favor with the Trump administration as the company looks for merger approval. I had a source close to Colbert say to me today that this feels like a situation where Colbert and The Late Show are a casualty of that pending merger. And there's a broader concern at play here that I think folks all around the world can relate to. A country where you can't lampoon a sitting president is not a free country. A country where you can't publish editorial cartoons or have late night monologues or have satires about the president is not a democratic country. Of course, we're not there. We're not there at all right now. There are lots and lots of figures.
And just to share what Jon Stewart, because there's conversation about the Daily Show potentially following the same fate.
His show, and the tone he takes isn't necessarily like the best news if you're a big fan of the Daily Show. So take a look.
Do you think that Skydance would get rid of the Daily Show after the merger goes through?
Skydance, the company that's coming in?
Yes.
Boy, that's a good question. I have, you know, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from them. They haven't called me and said, like, don't get too comfortable in that office, Stuart. You know, but let me tell you something. I've been kicked out of establishments than that. We'll land on our feet. No, I honestly don't know. I think we're the only sort of in like life that exists on a current basis other than like South Park.
Reruns of The Office.
It's the only thing on there. I'd like to think we bring enough value to the property. Like if they're looking at it as purely a real estate transaction, I think we bring a lot of value. But that may not be their consideration. I don't know. They may sell the whole place for parts. I just don't know. We've all got a surmisal about like who actually is owning it and what his ideology is. But ideology may not play a part. I just don't know.
So there's, do you believe there's censorship afoot, or do you believe it's just a business move, political? It is financial, because you cannot deny that. Yes, linear TV is in its decline. Yeah. No one watches TV in the same way anymore, and the way that the Late Show used to be like a sit around the TV family event, and America is really big business. I mean, there's part of me that feels a little bit. I empathize because I do love a late night TV show, and I love the way that they are fearless and criticize the establishment. However, also famously in America, late night TV is dominated by middle-aged white men, and no one else can get a look in. Yeah. So we know, and as Jon says, we will be fine. John will be fine. Stephen Colbert will be fine. Yeah. Everyone, all the Jimmys that have got shows will be fine. But
well, there's one Jimmy they're not going to go for. But
yeah, and but on a freedom of speech perspective, this is where it's problematic. What do you guys think?
They could definitely all do appears if they lose their, let's say, the established channels, but that's out there. And even there's so many TikTokers that are talking about that. Like, I guess in a way, it feels like scaremongering. Even for our platform, it's like, be careful if you talk about Trump because you never know what's going to happen to you. Like, be careful because he's suing everybody. Even if he sues one or two, it sets the precedent where people then stop talking. And that's what he wants. So Joy Reid going, it's the same thing. It's like she was criticizing, she loses her show. It may all be money, but it does the right thing in scaring enough people so that they stop talking. And Trump is famed for that, really. And he should be scared because there's a lot of shit coming out after him with all of the Epstein stuff and various interviews. And it's actually beggars belief again how the Democrats lost to him. Like, there's so much out there. How did you lose to Trump? Is wild. But yeah, it's scaremongering. It is scary.
But just to add, I think that it's embarrassing that the president of a country is tweeting about late night show hosts.
Yes.
Right?
It's embarrassing.
It's wild. Just to add on to his suing spree, you'd think they were old cronies and buddies, but he's suing Rupert Murdoch.
Story to disappear. Donald Trump can't yet shake the allegations linking him with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. He's even gone so far as to sue his old ally, Rupert Murdoch, over a story that appeared in his newspaper, The Wall Street Journal. And Robert's joining us from Washington tonight. You've been charting this story for us throughout this week and beyond. Robert, this announcement that this lawsuit is going ahead has just come in the last few minutes. The president just can't shake this conspiracy theory off, can he?
I mean, that is absolutely true, Julie, for Trump's loyalists, for the sort of MAGA base. I mean, this is a sort of a gigantic sense of betrayal with the president. Remember, this is, one of the most entrenched and powerful conspiracy theories of recent years, that Jeffrey Epstein 6 years ago was murdered in his prison cell, that he didn't commit suicide in order to silence him, that his alleged client list would expose some of the Washington elites as pedophiles. And Trump supporters always felt that Trump would get to the bottom of this, that he would somehow expose the so-called deep state, which is why, Julie, there was so much shock today and this week when Trump said, look, actually, there is no smoking gun, and he urged his supporters to get over their obsession. And today there was this fresh development with this story in the Wall Street Journal that claimed that in 2003, Donald Trump had written to Jeffrey Epstein, a rather kind of crude letter with a sort of a crude image in it as well, suggesting that they had a shared secret. Now, Trump was outraged by this, denied that letter came from him, and he posted these words on his social media posting. He said, I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam and he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did. And I'm now going to sue his ass off and that of his third-rate newspaper. And as you say, in the last few minutes, Donald Trump has said that he will take libel action against Murdoch, against the Wall Street Journal, and against the two reporters. This is, in essence, Trump trying to circle the wagon, targeting a more traditional enemy, namely the media. He's also asked his attorney general to release some documents from the Epstein court filings as well. So the inescapable irony here is that this is a conspiracy-minded president who is now getting distracted, deflected, and furious over a conspiracy theory being pushed by his own strongest supporters.
There you go, innit? When the tide changes.
Literally. And I was looking at, I was watching, I'll see if I can pull it up, this video that was, this discussion that was breaking down the QAnon kind of movement and how he stokes their interest to get voted in. And then now how disappointed and let down they're feeling, because there's so many things that he's not done that they thought that he was going to do. And so now can the tide change? It depends on, I have no faith in anyone because these people, the fact that you could get brainwashed by him anyway, but it's interesting how the tide is changing.
I feel like the tide can change because he's doing what the establishment does. He's serving himself, and this is what he said he wasn't going to do. So as long as now all of the so-called conspiracy theorists start putting out all of the material against him that he was supposed to do against other people, I can't see how, he wanted a third term. He'll come out soon. Like, his favor is going to drop so far down because this is, I don't know how people fell for it as well, but you thought as he is a pariah, he was going to out the others to save himself. And he hasn't. He's just saving himself. So then you got to be outed as well. Is how it goes. Have you guys seen the video of, I think her name is Katie Johnson, and she has a whole deposition. She was suing Donald Trump. She alleges that he raped her when she was 13 under Jeffrey Epstein's at one of the parties.
Isn't that the girl that got disappeared?
Exactly. She vamooshed. Nobody has seen her for 9 years. Donald Trump, but that had gone away for a time. That whole story had gone away, and now it's back again. And it's like, she mentions another person's name. So there may be a few other women that are like, I'm coming out now as well. Like, this is the video.
Okay, this is the first time finding it, so bear with, and yeah.
You on my free will. No, there was nothing promised to me for doing this interview.
Excellent.
Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth. I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There was an orgy going on, and he was kind of watching off in the distance. And he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job. And at first I wasn't very comfortable with it. This was like my first party, and I didn't think that was my responsibility. But my recruiter told me that I needed to do it. So I agreed to. And then he, I began to, sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, you need to use a glove. And the recruiter ran over and handed me a glove and said, no one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove. So I needed to use a glove. I gave him a hand job, and then immediately after, he had an orgasm, he left, and I didn't see him again at that party. Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire friend of Donald Trump's that was responsible for throwing the sex parties. I originally came to New York trying to be a model, and in my travels, I met a girl named Tiffany there who was very interested in me and said that, that's what she did, is that she helped girls, get what they wanted, and she could help me get into modeling, that she knew a lot of people that were higher ups, and that it would be no problem. And so that's why, but I would just basically have to come model at a couple of events and meet some people. There would be no sweat. So, of course I went, that sounded like no big deal. And she was recruiting the girls to come to these parties. And they all looked, most of them were, my age. There was, maybe a couple girls that were maybe 14 or 15, but it seemed to me like we were all very young, so. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein knew that I was 13 years old. When he interviewed me, he asked me to get down to my bra, just my panties, and I thought that was weird, but modeling, maybe it was something about my figure. And he asked that I give him a massage. So and then he asked me my age. He asked me, and I told him, told him that I was 13. I told him why I was there. And he basically said, well, you'll do, I'm sure that you'll fit pretty nicely here. And then he tried to basically slip himself inside of me. And I pushed him away, and I said, I'm because at that point in time, I still believed that there was models, and then there was the girls that did that. Like, I thought there was a separation. So, I told him that I wasn't interested in that, but he said that I would do. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him he seemed to take a liking to me because I was I was so young, and I was also a virgin. So I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't really into having girls that were liked by the other guys. He kind of, the whole glove, he kind of liked things to be his first, if that, for lack of, a better term, but he was the one who wanted to get to a girl before everyone else did. Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that, she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair, and so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me, but he took a liking to me because I look like his daughter. And the reason I'm coming out now is when it happened originally, I just wanted to forget about the whole incident. And when I saw that he was running for president, I felt it was my responsibility to come out and tell our country what kind of man this person is. I don't think that he should even be the dog catcher, let alone running the greatest country in the world. After I met...
don't know if there's more that I haven't watched all of this.
No, this is that is generally, she just goes into more details about different parties and stuff. If anybody wants to watch that whole interview, or you can read the lawsuit that she put forward as well. It's all there.
I had another one. This is from another woman. She said she's a survivor. I watched this earlier. Again, more of the same, but this woman was speaking on why she thinks that he needs to be in.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm traded against them. Many, like our next guest, have joined the call for transparency and for the Trump administration to release the files as promised. This comes as Virginia Giuffre, an outspoken survivor of sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein, died apparently by suicide at age 41 in April. She was the first survivor to come out publicly against Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, who remains in prison. She also sued Prince Andrew for sexually assaulting her when she was 17. The disgraced prince was forced to step away from his royal duties and settled with Giuffre in 2022. Her family said in a statement, quote, Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, unquote. Just last week, when the FBI and Department of Justice announced there was, quote, no incriminating client list, it also said Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims over 2 decades, far more than previously known. For more, we're joined by Teresa Helm, who is a survivor of sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein, facilitated by Ghislaine Maxwell. She was assaulted by Epstein in the early 2000s. She now works as the Survivor Services Coordinator for the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Her 2024 piece for Newsweek is headlined, I'm a Jeffrey Epstein survivor. The documents are an opportunity. Thank you so much for joining us. You, Teresa Helm, have talked about the dangers of grooming. As you see all of this taking place, the uprising within the MAGA movement, lost are what sexual violence survivors go through. Talk about how you first met Jeffrey Epstein, how you were brought to him, how you were groomed.
Well, hello, good morning. I can certainly talk to that. So I was attending college out in California at the time and was a full-time student and a full-time employee there. And so that began the process of recruitment to grooming, passed along the line from various people as far as this is an opportunity that I'd like for you to see if you're interested in and go talk to this person. So after speaking with a couple young women about an opportunity that I thought I was being blessed with at the time. I eventually met with Ghislaine Maxwell, who really, what she did was pretty astounding in the fact that within a day, I was convinced that I was in a safe, healthy, wonderful environment, blessed with an opportunity to pursue a career that I had only dreamed of having. In fact, that was my dream, to do what she had stated I would do alongside her, working for her. She was very polite and kind. She built trust in a very, within hours, I thought that I had really landed the opportunity of a lifetime. My family was very pleased that I was there interviewing with her, which is what the intention, that's what I thought I was there for, was an interview, and things went so amazingly well. And then she was so successful in all of that very, I would call it, master manipulation. She was very calculated in her craft and did it very well. I was very young. I mean, I was an adult, 22 years old. However, I had such big dreams and aspirations and determination, and really wanted to make the most of this opportunity that I thought that I was getting, to the point where at the end of my time with Ghislaine Maxwell, although I hadn't known that there was a partner, as she referred to him, that I would be meeting at the end of my time with her. I hadn't heard Jeffrey or any other person's name the entire time, from beginning sitting behind the desk at work in California at the college, to meeting Sarah Colin at the beach, to who then introduced me to Ghislaine. I had no idea that there was a final person that I was going to go meet. And once I learned of him by the name of Jeffrey, I did not, I paused and thought about some things, waved any kind of red flag in my mind, because again, she was Ghislaine was so good at what she had done and built that trust.
Go into it. We can talk about it, because I think there's a few videos of pretty much saying the same thing and how this network of people operate. I was trying to find another video, that's why I was letting it run, but we get the gist of what happened and how these people have moved. And it's, even if the video that I was trying to find was a discussion about how even Epstein came to be, and how he became rich in those circles. He came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's this rich guy that had real estate across America and his island, and was hobnobbing with the rich and elite. And he was hobnobbing with Trump. He was best friends with Trump. For 15 years, they were friends. For 15 years, they were bum chums. And there's footage and stuff about. So to say that there's no list, there's no client list, there's no nothing, we know this is a crock of shit. We know that this is not what Trump is doing is lying. You know that he's miseling everybody. I don't know. I still don't know if this will be his downfall.
It will be part of it. Sometimes you need that one thing to start the ball rolling on all of the other bits. But I definitely think you campaigned on these things, and you got to give something. You got flight logs, like something. You have to give something, or I can't see how you can avoid it at this moment in time. We know. I mean, there's so many theories out there, but the thing that I think is probably the truth of the matter is the CIA, FBI were all involved in this, and he may have been an asset or an agent, but they allowed children to be abused. There are a set of people that you allowed this to take place. Now, we know that they destroyed neighborhoods with crack. They are destroying neighborhoods now with opioids. We know that you do this to humans. So I don't really think this would destroy anything to let us know what you were doing. That's how I see it. I think humans are so apathetic to this. It's probably not going to cause the destruction that they are avoiding, because we know that you've destroyed families before. are people really outraged by trafficking? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It will be part of his downfall because he's not delivering on a lot of the things that he promised. This is one of them. He's also not delivering on America first, even though he's doing this immigration shit. He's not really delivering on it because of the amount of money that he's spending with Israel.
Yeah.
So how can it be America first where you're putting them first and all the money's going over there, but yet for all those people in your country that don't have the money to, you know, there's no medical care or anything like that. So I feel like all of these things will pile up, along with the fact that he is going against what you're supposed to as a president and getting Congress to approve of just even military action. Let's not forget that he did drop a bomb on Iran, without having Congress approve it. He's just rogue, isn't he? He's very much proving that he's about himself. He's handling this presidency like he is a business.
That's exactly what if we hope that his blind supporters will realize is that he's not for the people. He pretended he was for the people, but ultimately this is a rich boy he's a rich boy growing up into a rich man. He's never been for the people. He's never suffered in his life. He's definitely got a gold spoon in his mouth, and he's had that from birth. This is a conversation. I don't know if I've entered at the right point, but this was really interesting, breaking down how Epstein amplified QAnon and then how it just shapeshifts their perspective, why that Donald Trump let them down. I'll play a bit, I'll skip around. If it doesn't work, we'll just take it off.
Is found dead in his cell. So, in not the background, but not the foreground compared to Q, there is this other thing happening where there actually is a very rich and powerful person who has been arrested for pedophilia, for sex trafficking, and then he's found dead mysteriously. Tell me a bit about the theories that begin to build around that and how these things converge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most effective conspiracy theories really have a kernel of truth at their center, where they have something that is genuinely very weird or unprecedented or uncomfortable or, a crime in this case. And in the case of Jeffrey Epstein, even from the start of QAnon or its precursor conspiracy theories like Pizzagate, Epstein was really, a lot of material was drawn from him because it was a case of, someone who was sex trafficking, who had powerful connections. And so they already were very interested in Jeffrey Epstein. And then when he was indicted and then later found dead, that made it just explode, because this was a case where you didn't come off like a crazy person if you said, don't you think it's weird what happened to Jeffrey Epstein? What was he doing? How did he have all these connections to people like Bill Clinton or Donald Trump? And from there, then you can kind of recruit people into believing in something more outlandish like QAnon. And so really, I would say Epstein's death, even before the pandemic, was really a huge crossover moment for QAnon in terms of getting new recruits, because people really were legitimately unsettled by it.
So David French, my colleague, had this good line where he called the Jeffrey Epstein theories the thinking man's QAnon. And I get that, because the thing about Epstein is that it is weird. And there are things in it that are hard to explain. And there are things here that really happened, right? This was not a bunch of cryptic, Delphic writings on an internet message board. So maybe let's start this section this way. If you were trying to explain the Jeffrey Epstein story, not any conspiracies, just the story, to somebody who didn't really know anything about it, how would you do it?
Sure. I mean, so there in let's say the early aughts, there's this guy named Jeffrey Epstein who is fabulously wealthy. People don't know why he's so wealthy, really. He is just leagues beyond, he's ostensibly had some time in finance in Manhattan, but he's like leagues beyond in terms of wealth, what you would expect that to be. He has an enormous home in Manhattan. He has a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida. He has a ranch out west. He has a private jet. He has an island. I mean, that's it all comes back to the island. I mean, he's very, very wealthy, and people write articles. How is this guy so wealthy? Where does he get all these connections? And then in, I believe, 2005, a mother calls the police in Palm Beach and says, my teenage daughter said that this man, Jeffrey Epstein, offered her money to give him a massage, and he masturbated. And there was this, essentially a sex crime has happened here. The police take it very seriously. They start investigating. They find many girls who were given this treatment by Epstein, and they start wondering, why is this guy so well connected? Why is he, they're surveilling him at the airport as he takes off on the private jet. And then when they start actually trying to prosecute him, it seems like he has a lot of friends in high places. He has really high-powered lawyers. Prosecutors on the case are being kind of shuffled around, moved away. There's a sense of, don't look at this too closely. And then ultimately he signs a plea deal that has been called, the deal of the century, that in exchange for pleading guilty to a couple of these cases in Palm Beach, he will, he eventually ends up on house arrest. And it's been said that, what they had on him could have put him away for life. Instead, the federal and local authorities agree that, they're just not going to prosecute him anymore beyond that.
So there's some other weird dimensions of plea deal. There's immunity for co-conspirators, right? And there's something that comes up later that I think is very, of all the things that always piqued my interest in this, the prosecutor, the local DA or whomever it is, Alex Acosta, he later becomes Donald Trump's labor secretary. Yeah. But there's a report in the Daily Beast that when he's being vetted for labor secretary, he's asked by Trump officials, what's up with this sweetheart deal you gave Epstein? And again, this is in a Daily Beast report, and it's not coming from Acosta himself. It's coming from some unnamed Trump official, but apparently Acosta says, I was told he belongs to intelligence and to back off. And if you take that at face value, it adds this other dimension here that somehow he is an intelligence asset, somehow he is protected. And not only that, but the government knows about all this, right? But also weirdly, for where this story goes, the Trump administration knows about all this. So what did you make of that?
So the Jeffrey Epstein intelligence connection is really interesting because it kind of flares up, because you might wonder, it ties into a lot of the mystery about him, because you say, why is this guy so wealthy? Why does he have all these locations? Why does he have all these really high-powered connections? Why does he seem to sort of move through the world with ease, inexplicably? And so people start to wonder, that intelligence remark in the Daily Beast report has really been scrutinized. People start to wonder, is this guy running like a honeypot? Does he blackmail powerful people? Do they, let's say, and this is pure conjecture, do they come to the island and he plies them with underage girls or adult women? And does he videotape them perhaps and then use that as blackmail material? And so, and is that how he then got so wealthy? And so that idea then becomes kind of a key part of the Epstein story. And the other thing I would say is the intelligence connection is then used to explain, for people who scrutinize this, how he then managed to get off so easily. Was Jeffrey Epstein an intelligence operation that then, in Palm Beach sort of ran off the rails, and then they essentially tried to cover it up?
Here's something I've been wondering about the story. So the Acosta dimension of it, it's not like Acosta disappeared from public view after this. He became labor secretary for Donald Trump in the first term. He ended up having to resign as labor secretary because the Epstein story kept growing and it was becoming a distraction. But he gives a press conference on all this. And obviously, if somebody told him Epstein was an intelligence source, it would probably be helpful to Acosta or helpful to the rest of us if he would say, well, here's who told me that. But Acosta hasn't, to my knowledge, he doesn't really admit this ever having happened. Maybe it never happened, right? Maybe this initial Daily Beast report, which is all unnamed, maybe that's the thing that's untrustworthy. But what do you actually substantively make of it? Like, what is your hypothesis of what we should think about that comment? Like, Acosta just got named to the board of directors of Newsmax. Like, he exists out there in the world. People can ask him questions.
Yeah, that is a great question. You would think that in the way that this sort of imploded his career or has haunted him forever, this plea deal, why doesn't he come out and say, well, basically I was told by the head of this intelligence agency to leave it alone, and so it's not really my fault. But as you said, he hasn't vanished. He's certainly not talking about it. I mean, there are a lot of weird...
Sorry?
That precisely answers the question. The fact that he isn't talking about it and still can have jobs, lose jobs, but still can have others is because he's not talking.
Yeah.
He skipped over the point of early Jeffrey Epstein.
Intelligence connections. I mean, Ghislaine...
to be with.
How he actually
It is
came into
even
money.
said that he likes...
How he what?
How he actually came into money.
No,
he didn't just come into it through nowhere. He basically got given the Manhattan house by another guy, I forget his name, who is still a multi-billionaire. He gave him his first house. He didn't finish college. He doesn't
beautiful
have
women as much as I do.
But they gave him a job in the stock market. One of the high jobs is he was given stuff. So obviously somehow somebody knew this dude either has the proclivities to be heinous, as the CIA finds people, like you would know who has those traits. Exactly. Nobody gets money from nowhere. We can't become millionaires without people looking into where we made our money from.
Yeah.
Definitely don't become a billionaire without everybody looking into your
and moving in the circles that you're moving. You have to be vetted. You have to be approved. There's whatever rituals, whether it's not even rituals. You have to be approved to get into these spaces and move as they were saying freely. There's a bit where he moves to Trump, then we can come up for this.
Was Donald Trump. Tell me about the Donald Trump-Epstein relationship.
Yeah, so I mean, Donald Trump was friends with Epstein for a long time. I mean, there's a video of them. They're kind of on the side of a dance floor and they're sort of whispering to each other. They sort of seem to be saying, she's hot. Maybe I'll ask her to dance later. And then there's this quote Trump gave for a profile of Epstein. One of these profiles that's saying, how is this guy? This guy seems to be a billionaire. No one can explain his wealth. Then Trump says, many people say Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm paraphrasing here, but people say Jeffrey Epstein likes young women, even more than me. I mean, very young.
I'm going to give the whole quote here. He says, this is New York Magazine in 2002. Trump says, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. It's a little odd.
It is. I mean, it kind of, you think back to, how people would talk about Harvey Weinstein before Me Too. And it's kind of this weird, open secret that people will nod to.
But how does, I guess one question I have as this begins to merge all together and Trump, the savior of QAnon, the scourge of pedophilic elites, but maybe the only person on record as early as 2002 saying that he knows Jeffrey Epstein has a thing for young women. That doesn't seem like a guy you would put your trust in to be outside of this and your savior from it. That seems like a guy who might be part of this thing, whatever it is.
Well, Ezra, you've got to think about this like QAnon. I mean, this makes Trump the perfect guy to take it all down. In their case, you're right. I mean, it is kind of crazy. Their rationalization is that, let's say we look at this video of Trump hanging out with Epstein. Well, perhaps he was going inside, he was looking inside Epstein's operation to bring it down from the inside. Or you say, well, why would he pick Alex Acosta, the guy involved in this nice plea deal Epstein got? Why would he make him the head of the Labor Department, which has a ton of oversight over human trafficking? Well, Trump was maybe trying to bring attention to the plea deal and to get it overturned by elevating Acosta's profile. That's how they see it.
We know Trump is subtle, if nothing else. He does things through misdirection and symbolism. But I want to stand what's strange about Epstein for a couple of minutes. So Epstein is really well connected. He is friendly, not just with Donald Trump. He is friendly with Bill Gates. He's friendly with Bill Clinton. He hosts these dinners for scientists and innovators, right? He has lots of friends who are very, very rich. And so the idea that begins to emerge, as I understand it, is that Epstein is running something like what we would now describe as like the Diddy parties.
Imagine that.
But for the most powerful people in society, right? That he, on his island, is flying back and forth with the most powerful and most wealthy people in the world for these pedophilic orgies. And that it is in the union of these two things that the cabal like begins to take a shape. That Epstein knew everybody. He knew what they had done. Maybe he's doing it in part for blackmail, for intelligence reasons. Maybe just he has the files on them. And so Epstein is a threat to them and the whole cabal. And when he begins to get brought down, now this whole thing is endangered. And the fact that he ends up dead in a cell, reportedly by suicide, begins to look to people very fishy, right? Is that basically the structure of the theory here?
That is the crux of it. The idea that he finally has this federal case in which he could potentially flip, or, you know, maybe all of his evidence will at minimum come out at trial, that someone perhaps either he's killed in his cell, or someone, which I think is maybe more believable, that someone says, hey, Jeffrey, you know, we're going to create the circumstances for you to take things into your own hands. That is sort of the Epstein story summed up.
So
we can go on. It's long.
That's definitely what took place. I think it is either it was 5 hours before, but it's within the same day. He talks with his lawyers, and then he dies. And it's probably within that talk that is like, okay, so today's the day, dude. You probably got to end it yourself, or we're going to kill all of your family, or however they do it allegedly to people. But I think it's very suspicious that he talks with his lawyer and then he kills himself. All right, bro.
That part. It's literally that part. I mean, and yeah, because they go into talking about conspiracy theories and things like that. But when it starts to become anything else, but well, what else can it be? Sometimes when we're talking, we're like, yes, it's conspiracy theory. It sounds a bit far-fetched. But what else is the scenario? The plot points are there. And yes. Donald Trump, the way, like, we can...
And also, just because someone says it's a conspiracy theory doesn't mean that it's not real.
And that's the thing, because they hide behind that. Like, I think, and again, watch this video. It's a good conversation, especially about the QAnon side of things as well. Like, they started, when things start to go left, they're like, okay, stop talking about QAnon. Just be out there talking about what you're talking about. You can hide behind the QAnon because they do crazy stuff. So, like the people at January 6th, a lot of them were QAnon and they went nuts. And so that conspiracy theorist title is damaging. And as you said, like, you can talk about something, be labeled a bit of a woo-woo crazy person. But what you're saying is fact. What else is there left for this situation? There's nothing else. We can't change it. There's nothing else. It's obvious. Man didn't just die.
No.
Trump legends with him and you were involved. You knew 15 years. You knew and you were close. It's not like we can be friends with people and not know someone's personal life. You were on the island with him, flying on a jet with him.
It's like everybody was. I think they say that Trump actually distanced himself when he got that sweetheart deal. Like, that's when you there's no longer, I think it's like maybe from 2006 on, you don't see him. But then you still see Prince Andrew, obviously, still carries on his friendship with him as well. And there's still other people. Bill Gates is in there. He still is around in the 2010s as well. And Melinda on record said that it was because of Epstein, one of the reasons why she divorced him. So again, it's like, what was Bill Gates doing with him? Why his wife divorced him? Like, what was he up to?
And Bill Gates being who Bill Gates purports to be, the daddy of charity and philanthropy. But here we are. Why are you hanging out with Epstein? In what capacity?
Jimmy Savile, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jimmy Savile, millions to charities.
Exactly.
Thousands of kids that you were fiddling with.
Yep.
So, yeah, to who is asking what's Prince Andrew up to these days? Good question. Because what is he up to now? We don't know.
He's just going to live his life quietly. I mean, it's a chore anyway, doing all the royal tours and having to wave your hand. So how about you just stay out the limelight and live large off your duchy millions, like the millions that they get from us as well. He's fine. White men fail up. He's fine. So you know what I mean. The Dark Lennials, said the MAGA movement needs to apply as much pressure to as that's his house. So I was just picking in comments. Rianne says the fact that he was re-elected, given what people know of him, speaks to how swiftly people brushed his L's aside regarding Trump. I do hope that will not be the case this time as he continues to tell on himself. Yeah.
I just don't have faith.
I don't.
People, because it seems like we have so much historical data, and still when elections come around, people seem to brush that to one side, or it doesn't even matter elections, pandemics come around, or trying to take a vaccine, we brush aside all of the data that has presented before us with historical facts and be like, no, we are going to listen to a government. It's like, why? What have they actually done that suggests that they have any normal person's interest in their favor ever? Like it. So I don't know. I actually feel like they could just let it all out, and people are going to be up in arms for a minute, and then they're going to move on. We literally have like 3 or 4 evident cases of genocides happening.
Yeah.
Are we not all still going to work?
Everyone's still getting up. Stephanie, go on. Stephanie DK says, I'm from Ohio. Epstein's financiers, Wexner, Victoria's Secret.
That's it, Wexner. Yes.
Is in Ohio. The Iran-Contra drug money thing is real. Deep state shiitake, mate. Diddy and Trump, someone said, is there a connection between Trump and Diddy? Jordan Parker says, Diddy and Trump have been friends over 20 years. Trump and Melania have been to the white parties. Yeah, there's I mean, and it's the fact that even now in big Epstein conversation, Diddy parties are now a thing.
I know.
You're like the Diddy parties. Like imagine that.
And the thing is, and it's exactly that Ava J. Diddy is small fry. And also okay, this not that I'm saying you should be the biggest, baddest, but the fact that isn't it embarrassing that your legacy has been reduced to your Diddy parties are not even as powerful. You don't, because the way they set that comment up was Epstein was entertaining powerful people from around the world, likened to the Diddy parties, but powerful people around the world. You've wasted your legacy on stuff that is insignificant, has been reduced to those Diddy parties. And I'm not saying that they should be even badder, because we don't want any of those type of parties at all. But again, just to like shit on Diddy a little second, like you're so embarrassing. Like you're not respected. You thought you were doing bits, and this is what your legacy has been ruined and brought down to. Yes, they do. Rihanna, I believe they all run in very similar circles. They all see the same dark, shady rooms, and I think that's what people. And this is the thing again, going back to Diddy. I think I was having a conversation with someone. It's like you forget your status, you forget who you are. You think just because you're in certain rooms, you've got power. You think you can make a difference. You get gassed. You start bad boying up at the place, but you're nothing. You're insignificant, and you can get taken down at a second. And yes, it's human nature to get caught up by the lights, but try to do better. You know.
Yeah. You know, we do actually skate over the whole Playboy Mansion parties as well.
Right.
Yes, they're all at it. You know, they're celebrating circles.
Absolutely.
The Playboy bunny was a thing.
Absolutely.
Think about it.
You know
Playboy
what?
Mansion made it into Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Like it was okay because it's a magazine, but he was having all these not underage. I can't say that, but he was doing questionable things with women who were very young, and they would have fucking orgies there, and everybody knew that.
Yeah.
It's I would want to go.
Yeah,
and it was normalized to a point. I went to Hugh Hefner's party.
Yeah,
I remember. The Playboy bunny was a thing, like a sexual icon. Yeah. I think I've got a picture. I don't know if I still got those pictures. I think there was a casino in London. There's a picture. I think my dad was at one, a casino in London, and there was the Playboy casino, wherever. I don't know if it's still there. And it was a 70s picture. The girl had the bunny ears and stuff. And like it transported around the world. And the Playboy bunny is an iconic figure, really, and a symbol of sexuality for young girls and women. And the Playboy magazine, the Playboy Mansion, Hugh Hefner, that old guy in his silk dressing gown is an icon with his cigar. It's such a alpha male symbolism of male virility and sexuality and power over women. And it was normalized. I never once, and maybe as an adult, but again, because he died after a while, like that it's died out, the Playboy power. But definitely growing up during the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, especially it being combined with hip hop culture as well, very influential. The Playboy Mansion was not, I don't think I ever thought of it as particularly bad. I was like, oh, I might even have gone.
No, I know. I thought, you know what it was when he had his, was it MTV? Was that actually on MTV, his show?
I can't remember what channel it was on.
What, the Playboy Mansion? No, I don't think it was on. Let me look. I don't think he had.
The Bridget and the other girls.
Yeah, remember it focused on.
It was MTV. I think it was MTV.
That I thought was.
It was an MTV Cribs. Hold on, let's see if we can find it. It was MTV.
No, not Cribs.
No, this is actually his documentary.
Reality.
Yeah, they had a whole reality show.
Reality show.
I do remember watching it. He was on cable.
Might have been on E.
Maybe it was early E.
I'm good. It's the Girls Next Door.
That's it.
TV. Okay, Girls Next Door.
Will Smith is saying VH1 or MTV. Yeah.
Okay.
Girl Next Door.
I'm sure it was an MTV show, but it was so normalized because I definitely was watching the table. And that's when I thought, this feels strange. Like watching their interactions with each other, and all of them were like his girlfriends. And he's so old, and especially Kendra was so young. It just was. We're all supposed to think that this is so normal. Like they tried to normalize this types of stuff.
And they went into the bed with him. You'd see them, all three of them, in the bed with him, and it's like, this is okay.
Yeah.
I know someone that worked with him, and they said that, oh, he doesn't sleep with all of them.
Yeah, I heard that too, especially as he got older.
Yeah. It's not even funny why, or not even a coincidence why these girls look the way that they do, because he was obsessed with that whole look. I think he even made sure that he's buried next to her. There's something weird about him and his obsession with Marilyn Monroe anyway.
Was a place
Let's see if this goes into
luxury and glamour. Its owner, Hugh Hefner, was a legend in the world of publishing, and his mansion was a symbol of his success. But beneath the surface, there were dark secrets that few knew about. Hey, I'm Brandy, and thanks for tuning in to another dark episode of your favorite internet show, Conspiracy Central.
Hi.
Let's start with a little bit about Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner was an American entrepreneur, magazine publisher, and cultural icon, best known as the founder of Playboy magazine. He was born on April 9th, 1926, in Chicago, Illinois, and grew up in a conservative family. He attended the University of Illinois and served in the U.S. Army during World War II. After his military service, Hefner worked as a copywriter for various magazines and began to discuss culture and lifestyle. In 1953, he raised enough money to launch Playboy, which quickly became a huge success and made Hefner a millionaire. Hefner became known for his lavish lifestyle and for the parties he hosted at the Playboy Mansion, which became a symbol of the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 70s. He was married 3 times and had 4 children. He died on September 27, 2017, at the age of 91. Now, you might have known all this about him, but did you know the dark secrets about the Playboy Mansion? It all started in the early days of the mansion when Hefner was still in his prime. He would host wild parties every night filled with... But as the years went by, the parties became more debaucherous and the women became younger and more vulnerable. Hefner had a system in place to recruit new women for his parties. He would send his employees out to find young, attractive women and offer them the chance to come to the mansion and party with the rich and famous. Many of these women were aspiring models or actresses, and they saw the invitation as a way to further their careers. Many of the women who went to the mansion were looking for attention and validation, but what they found was something far more sinister. They were quite often coerced into sexual acts and subjected to sexual harassment and abuse. Some women even claimed that they were drugged and raped by Hugh Hefner and his friends. There have been allegations of drug use at the Playboy Mansion, including accusations that Hugh Hefner himself may have used drugs to facilitate sexual encounters with women. However, it is difficult to say with certainty whether or not Hefner specifically drugged women at the mansion, as these allegations have never been proven in a court of law. There have been multiple reports over the years of drugs being used at the mansion, both by Hefner and by other staff members and guests. Some former Playboy playmates and other women associated with the mansion have claimed that they were offered drugs by Hefner or other staff members, or that they witnessed drug use taking place at mansion parties. Despite the rumors and allegations, Hefner was never charged with any crimes. He always maintained that the women who came to the mansion did so willingly, and that he never forced anyone to do anything they didn't want to do. The truth was much darker than Hefner wanted to admit. For years, he had been using his power and influence to prey of their relationship, such as Hefner's insistence on having multiple girlfriends at once. Isabella St. James was a former Playboy model and one of Hefner's girlfriends in the mid-2000s. In her 2010 memoir, Bunny Tales, she described her time at the Playboy Mansion as a living hell and alleged that Hefner was emotionally abusive and manipulative. In her memoir, she writes that he would play girlfriends against each other and try to create a competitive environment to maintain his power. Stefan Tettenbaum, who worked as Hefner's personal valet from 1978 to 1981, alleged that life wasn't easy for employees at the mansion either. He thought he was the king, the emperor, Tettenbaum claimed. We were just servants. Everyone else was invisible. He didn't want to know our names. He just gave us directions. According to Tettenbaum, staffers were supposed to avoid eye contact with the women in the mansion, even if they tried to initiate a conversation. We were told you cannot talk to the girls. You're not their friend. You work for Mr. Hefner. You don't work for them. Baker and some of Hefner's other friends claimed that they never saw him treat his girlfriends with anything less than kindness. Madison, however, noted that those acquaintances didn't always see what was happening behind closed doors. Multiple former employees and models allege that Hefner was constantly watching everyone in his orbit via hidden cameras and microphones. One of Hugh's ex-employees said, "Many of the girls wanted to tell you their problems, and that made us all very nervous. We had to be careful because we knew we were being monitored." In one throwback interview clip, Hefner himself admitted that he had video cameras hidden around his property. Sandra Theodore, who dated Hefner from 1976 to 1981, claimed that things were done to hush people up and to get them out of the way. While she lived at the mansion, he had tapes on everyone. Tettenbaum, for his part, claimed that Hefner's team stopped him when he wanted to publish a book about his time in the Playboy world. "I got threatened," he alleged. "They said, you're not going to put this book out or we can find you anywhere you go. You can't hide from us." It was very frightening. Former cover model Charlotte Lewis claimed that even Hefner's wives weren't exempt from his surveillance policies, recalling an incident when she invited his second wife, Kimberly Conrad, over for lunch. She was not really allowed out of the mansion, Lewis claimed. So she arrived with a bodyguard who was constantly on his telephone to Mr. Hefner. "She's going up the stairs. She's going to the loo." Holly Madison described life at the mansion as cult-like, and she even went so far as to compare Hefner to Charles Manson. She said there were so many similarities with the way the girls followed everything he said, and we were all one big happy family. A photographer claimed that Hefner was fascinated by the Manson family and had somehow obtained home videos of the group that were filmed before their infamous 1969 murder spree. He claimed it was cult-like. He said the women had been groomed and led to believe they were part of this family, and he really did believe he owned these women. There were playmates that committed suicide. Holly Madison recalled that she considered suicide while living in the mansion. She said, "I remember there was a point in time, a couple years in, after we had gone out and after we'd all been in the bedroom, Everybody was leaving and walking out, and I was in the bathtub, and I just wanted to drown myself. I just felt like I was in this cycle of misery. It's worth noting, however, that Hefner was also a vocal advocate for civil rights and free speech, and used his platform to support progressive causes and challenge societal norms. His legacy is definitely a complex one. I also found the inside scoop from PJ Maston, who was the bunny master in LA and Chicago at the Playboy clubs from 1972 through 1982. Her sole job as bunny master was to keep any potential problems or bad things that happen under wraps.
Okay.
She was the secret keeper.
See? Everybody has a handler. That is literally Christina Karam's job.
Handler.
They always have the handler. Whatever comes about, they are going to sort it out. They all have one. This is exactly the same playbook.
It's the same playbook.
Absolutely.
She's quoted saying, "I worked in 6 clubs. Every club had a scandal. At least one, if not many more," she alleged. "I had to keep my mouth closed if I wanted to keep my job. There was a lot of collateral damage within the Playboy organization, a lot, and the majority of the collateral damage is towards women." Some other dark moments in the Playboy Mansion history include the case of Bill Cosby, who was accused of sexual assault by multiple women, including former Playboy playmate Victoria Valentino. Valentino has claimed that Cosby drugged and raped her at a party at the mansion in 1970. Then later in 2014, another former playmate, Judy Huth, filed a lawsuit against Cosby for how he had treated her while he was at the Playboy Mansion. PJ Maston also came forward with some similar claims and revealed that these allegations happened to several other women as well. Maston was told by her superiors to keep everything hush-hush due to Hefner's close relationship to Bill Cosby, saying that, quote, "he was his guy." Of course, when the Cosby allegations came out in the press, Hefner responded by saying, "Bill Cosby has been a good friend for many years, and the mere thought of these allegations is truly saddening. I would never tolerate this kind of behavior, regardless of who was involved." Another dark incident at the mansion involved the death of playmate Dorothy Stratton in 1980. Stratton was the beautiful blonde girl next door who came into the Playboy Mansion in 1978. Over the next 2 years, she became Playboy Playmate of the Year and had a blooming acting career. Everything looked great on the surface, but there was trouble brewing underneath it all. Stratton was murdered by her estranged husband, Paul Schneider, the same man who helped start her career as a playmate. He had been abusive towards her during their marriage. The murder took place in Stratton's own home, but she had previously lived at the mansion with her boyfriend. Schneider became jealous and possessive as she gained fame and success. The couple had separated in the weeks leading up to Stratton's death, and she had begun a new relationship with film director Peter Bogdanovich. The circumstances surrounding Stratton's murder have been the subject of much speculation and controversy. Some have suggested that Schneider was involved with organized crime and may have been ordered to kill Stratton as part of a larger scheme. Others have claimed that Bogdanovich was somehow involved, although there is no evidence to support this theory. Despite the many rumors and theories, the official cause of Stratton's death was determined to be homicide by gunshot wound. Her tragic and untimely death shocked the entertainment industry and continues to be remembered as a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame and obsession. Stratton's death also had a profound impact on the Playboy community, as she had been a rising star and a favorite of Hugh Hefner. Her murder was a stark reminder of the darker side of the Playboy lifestyle and the risks that can come with fame and celebrity. What do you think?
All right. It's exactly the same shit, isn't it? It's the same. It's like they all go to the same school.
Yeah, absolutely, all of them. And then remember what we were saying before? We talked about how Diddy got into this kind of environment as well.
Yeah,
that he's probably been seen and been not groomed, but he's been to a certain degree, I suppose, seen as he would be able to continue this kind of cycle. And it's because they find their people. And they train their people. And that's why they all think that they can get away with it. The fact that even Hugh Hefner was saying, Bill was a great friend, but I don't condone anything. You had him up in your yard. You know what he was doing. You're all fucking part of the same team of dirtiness.
And this thing of like, I mean, I hate to live a life where you just don't know who's your real friends. But you know, like these people aren't your friends. It's just it really is birds of a feather flocking together until further notice. Because the minute you step out of line, the minute, your shit's been exposed. I don't know. I would never condone.
I left the party. I didn't see that part.
Everyone, that's what they said. Everyone.
Literally, everyone's like, I was leaving early. No.
Yeah. And these times now, you're up in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot, and it is definitely the modeling pipeline, the young artist pipeline, this thing, whatever it is, whether
it's film, TV, music, modeling, whatever it is, these guys are on it. They're at the top of those trees, and they find these young women or men, and they manipulate them.
And they get their handlers, they get the Gillian Wells, they get this person that's to shut up scandals, a PR person to quiet down scandals. Diddy had the people that were just keeping everything quiet. And imagine big Prince's party, stuff like that's happening, and that never came out until now. Exactly. All these things and then everyone's at that code. Remember who was it who ended up? Who was it in the end who bit Beyonce on the cheek? The way that they keep certain things that would be
it.
Yeah. So all of those things are things that happen behind closed doors that everyone's like, it's a sworn. So when people say, I would talk, I understand how you can be part of the fabric of something and not wanting to be the one to talk, because what does that do for your lifestyle? What does that do?
The people that are talking, what's happening to them?
Yeah.
Because people are talking. It's not like these stories aren't heard of. That we're just told, they're just out for their money. They were trying to do that. That's what we're told. People are talking. It's just no one's listening.
But that's what I'm saying about.
I don't believe it. Just think about how Cassie is now being painted in the wake of Diddy's trial verdict. It's now like, actually, no, all of these people are complicit. I'm like, did you listen to the evidence? But because people don't care about women, I don't even think people don't know what coercion is. You absolutely do know what coercion is. You don't care about women. So it's really easy to then go into, but she got money for it though. It's okay. But look at where they were. Like, as if being in a mansion and being abused is better than being in a council estate and being abused. You're still being abused.
But also and for the girls who are involved, because it's very easy to say, well, you want it, you look at this rich, because you can look at Hugh Hefner and think, I can look at Hugh Hefner and say, you would never, even if your thing was Afro head, black girls, and that was your thing, that was a Playboy bunny aesthetic. On me sitting here, I'd be like, what the fuck? Why would I go anywhere? But then another black girl, I might be like, why would you even look at Hugh Hefner as a viable ticket? But there's also a brainwash where there's an assumption, well, this is the lifestyle. This is how you get forward. This is how you make your money. This is how I can pull myself out of the shit that I'm in. Could also be escaping abuse in my own yard. So let me go here and leave it.
Exactly. But then also these people, they build trust with them, don't they? That's a whole. They present as non-threatening to these people. They present as saviors to these people.
Like,
so,
Elaine, like that.
Whether or not you fancy Hugh Hefner or not, if you meet this man and he's presenting as someone who, all you got to do is come here and I'll help you. And, I love your career. You know how talented you are. You're so super talented. You can fall into the trap of that shit. Yeah. He did the same thing. I mean, didn't Cassie start talking to Diddy in the first place because he said he's going to make her give her a record deal? It's the old fucking playbook. Back in the day in Hollywood, you'd have people going, wanting to be, not even olden days, even now, people wanting to be actresses and actors and stuff like that. And look at the Tyler Perry thing that we were talking about the other day. It happens.
It's real. The casting couch is real. And I think it's an entry point. There is that pocket of discussion about your intention and what you know from what you don't know. But I think even if I go in with the intention that I'm going to sleep with X film person, because I know that if I sleep with that person, I'm going to get to do these films. Even if I go in with the intent, does it mean that I must be raped and abused after? Does it mean that? Does it mean that?
It's never that one. Even if it was like a night, okay, I could do this for this night, for this opportunity. Let's take the Tyler Perry situation, allegedly what the guy has put forward. He was relentless in hounding him. So then you become the person's property, and then they're going to place you and take things away at will. So it's not a straight transaction.
No.
But that's how people in comment sections talk about it. Like, this is a straight transaction. She was there with him for 10 years to get to where she got to. Where did she get though? Where did Cassie actually get? She didn't get anywhere because she's placed in a situation where now you're compromised. You're literally under a mind control. Now you are a druggie.
Yeah.
Where are you going to leave when you haven't your house isn't your own, your car isn't your own, you literally have no money. So then how is that not being a slave? But this is basically the argument that they had with slavery.
Yeah.
Where are all of these people going to go though?
Yeah.
They need to be in this system. And there were slaves also in the system. Where are we going to go though? We have to keep this go. And that's how they keep you in the loop. And it's like, are people losing their minds that you can't see this is literally coercion?
Yeah.
Yes, you could leave, but where's she leaving to?
Yeah.
Her parents were being funded by Diddy's money after a while. It's like, if I leave, so now everybody don't have a house.
Everybody's done. That's it.
That's the part where you're part of something in your whole ecosystem. And that's why someone's like, then, okay, so I've got this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get the money and everything's cool. I've got a whole people eating of me. I'm not saying fuck all.
But not only that, you're blackballed on top of that.
And
So if you do think, okay, fuck it, I'm going to leave and I'm going to, sorry, someone's at my door.
Yeah, exactly that. Kevin says, Aunties, there's been controversial stories about the Playboy Mansion parties being talked about for decades, which was covered in books and independent films, but never got mainstream TV publicity. And it's true, there's not been, I don't believe that Hollywood would avoid it, but where's the mainstream film about Hugh Hefner? And actually, I wonder why there's not been one.
No, because there's so much shit in there. Basically, Hugh got away with it. And there are always people that kind of get away with it. In the same way, Jimmy Savile got away with it. Basically, he died before anything happened. And I think they are almost like keys for other people to think, it may come out what I'm doing, but I may get away with it for my lifetime even. So they carry on doing their shit. Like we know these things are going on, but earlier on somebody was saying, remember the Playboy emblem was on children's clothing. I remember that being a thing, going out, raving, and Playboy bunny symbols being almost
everywhere.
Like you know, on shorts, a little top. It was a thing. That is normalizing.
I've actually still got Playboy shit that I've bought in the past. It's mad.
What does that do in our heads that we don't see that this older man is out there as trafficking? It like removes that language from it. It's kind of like, oh, but you know, sometimes young girls, they like an older man, like the money. You just see it as very normal. They plant these seeds in us that it's normal that you'll have modeling houses where there's 14 to 22-year-olds all living there with handlers.
Yeah.
What's the same as that? That is a madam's house. Like, come on now. You know, it's not okay.
Rianne says exactly what you said. They were also used to promote a lifestyle and a view that a much older man pursuing a young woman, sometimes younger, is a mutually beneficial choice. Ava said, as I think alluding to when I said that there was a bit of that, you know, where the black Playboy bunnies, the way we are psychologically programmed to fight for things we shouldn't even want to be a part of is wild. And that applies to the Diddy situation, to black people being in these spaces, fighting to be in these upper echelon spaces, wanting to be a part of the party. And I get it. The shiny, glitzy stuff, if you feel like you're a part of the elite, then you feel like you've made it and pulled yourself out of wherever you've come from. But to fight to be in those spaces, at what cost? At what bloody cost are we trying to be in these spaces? Strike 22 says the modeling is the door to being found out. Yep, the modeling industry can be. Strike was saying, I remember someone said to me that I should put my daughter into child modeling. I responded with an uppercase F no. Like,
absolutely the same.
Yeah, it's a lot because we've talked about it before. Jordan says Holly also helped bring other girls into the fold, how to dress, wear their hair, and that's the thing that becomes a system of normalization. Because especially if you're someone that's, again, I don't know Holly's backstory, but you've come in and at first it's all nice, so you might see your brethren like, yo, you know what, you got it large. You don't.
That's how it happened. Like, she's not from a well-off family, from what I remember.
I'm sure she was poor.
Yeah, I think
you come in and you're going to be like,
all of them were poor. And what we didn't see, sorry, just quickly, what we didn't see is how she was brought into that circle. If you're brought into a circle and then it's normalized, and then you're then told to bring in other people, this is how it continues.
Just Jonda, hi. I think I haven't seen your name before. Hello. Says the mansion was known to be dilapidated, dirty, outdated facilities, etc. They only marginally kept up the public areas where the parties were held. I mean, not surprising.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. because also, you know, again, who they want you to look towards whilst they're fucking up the world, they'll put these iconic figures like an Epstein, like a Hugh Hefner. This crumbling old man is a symbol of male virility. It's wild, absolutely wild.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's actually crazy. But that is, yeah, they do these cultural markers. They are just smoke screens anyway. I wouldn't be surprised.
Strike says this is very, very, very true. They will always make the black version of anything, the face of anything negative, but they will also do the black version of something because they're trying to appeal to everybody. So whilst they've got the Hugh Hefner, then they'll create the, you know, whichever rapper or icon that takes on that persona. And that pimp persona is so heavily ingrained in black culture. That thing of reality through having multiple women and being the daddy of it all. That is something that's so ingrained in our music and our lifestyle, which is awful.
I just had a thought. I don't know where you was going to go next.
I was going to go funny because we've got to wrap up. I was going to go funny, but yeah, go on. What were you saying?
Okay, you can go funny. It's just something for people to know anyway. The takedown of Jay-Z, and
I have that story there. We can do.
Did you see the latest one, Colin Kaepernick's wife?
Yeah. I had that on the dock, which is because it's free.
Yeah, I was just thinking of, it's probably something for us to go into longer anyway. The NFL deal that was done, the fact that there were so many black eyes on the NFL, and I did put my hands up. I absolutely forgot about how fuckery the NFL is, and I've been watching the halftime shows, and it's like for real.
Remember how much she used to talk about it before with all the Colin. I can never say his name. With all of that stuff, Kaepernick, thank you. With all that stuff, and him, even he's got lyrics that saying I don't need them, they need me. But, you know, because he never did it himself.
I know you said you got to jump off far, but we can talk about it because it's on the dock and it's the news story now.
Let's talk about it. We can do another 15 minutes or so.
All right, cool. Let me go to it then, because yes. So Nessa Diab, radio host Nessa Diab, and also girlfriend, partner of Colin Kaepernick, has accused Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and CEO Desiree Perez of working to silence her partner, Colin, and rapper Nicki Minaj. In a series of tweets, she claimed they accepted millions from the NFL to help calm public protests while sidelining those who spoke out. So, going to go into what happened, and I've got a video of Jigga talking about the situation. So, first and foremost, let me get that. And this is this guy breaking it down because there's not a clear news story, just as an FYI. Have we had something?
We have 20.
Oh, Miley! Thank you. She says, you queen should try to get Nilla Allen on this podcast. The amount of advances she's got in the music industry is crazy. Luckily, she's still an independent content creator and rap artist. She is free for real. Oh, cool. We should get that conversation. Remind us, and we shall do that. And thank you so much, Miley. Appreciate you, man. All right, let me share this. Thank you so much, guys. You've been very cute today. Very, very cute. Appreciate you. Let me share screen. So this is a guy breaking it down, but I think he was good enough. All right, let's go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This light is bright.
Okay. Okay.
What's he breaking down?
But he did. He was good. He was good.
Rampage. For the last 48 hours?
Still tweets
48 hours possibly. Yeah. Well, this is according to the Jasmine brand. Colin Kaepernick's longtime partner, Nessa Diab, accuses, I will mess somebody's name up, accuses Jay-Z and Rock Nation of sabotaging his protest, plus compares their tactics to alleged smear campaign against Nicki Minaj. So this is what Nessa, Miss Nessa, baby. This is what Nessa had to say on Twitter, X. So she tagged Nicki Minaj and she said, at Nicki Minaj exposing the smear campaign tactics that Jay-Z, Rock Nation, Desiree Perez did to her behind the scenes is very similar to what I was told they did to Kaepernick 7. She tagged Colin Kaepernick. When Jay purposely co-opted Colin's protest by siding with the NFL to help their image after they blackballed Colin for his protest. I call them out I called them all out years ago, and so many people were scared to say it publicly, but would tell me how they agreed with me privately, shaking my head. Rock Nation apparently took $5 million a year over 5 years to bury the growing protest, and specifically helped them move beyond the controversy around teams' unwillingness to sign Kaepernick. Desiree even said, and I quote, "We love that everybody wants to be on the stage, that we've completely changed the conversation to fighting for it versus boycotting. We've come a long way. She got her pardon by Trump. No coincidence the NFL owners are his buddies and also donated millions to his campaign. I still don't watch that league or whoever is performing at whatever game they have playing. Hashtag still with Cap. Hashtag forever."
Yeah, that's the truth of the matter.
I ain't never changed my mind about Jay-Z and that stunt he pulled when it came to Colin Kaepernick. I remember Jay-Z sitting at that table and saying that we were done kneeling.
So I've got it on here. He's at the actual conference. 1 second. Yeah. It's a better quality. Here we go. Let me see where we. I don't know. I haven't watched all of this. I don't know where he says this, but this is what he says at the press conference.
Thank you, Cher. Pure waffle. Pure waffle. This is disgraceful. Wow, wow, wow.
Okay. Because okay. We get the gist of this.
Yeah. You know what the play is, basically. We know what this is. This is literally like the devil's game. You present the world with, we are helping, while you're able to do all of your shenanigans and people are distracted. He basically took on the charge. Like, I can do this really well for you guys. Like, nobody's even going to be thinking about Colin.
Okay, guys, so get this. Jay-Z and
Colin never got a job again. Nobody that was kneeling, they all got punished. The fact that the sport, the game even itself, causes brain damage. Like, we're all going to forget all about all of that stuff. Like, he's been great at it. And he took the contract from the flipping Jermaine Dupri. Like, the guy's a shark. I'm glad people are talking about it.
What I was looking for, this story says that countering what Colin Kaepernick's missus was saying. Okay, now we can get into it.
We just basically went over what we watched.
Yeah. Oh, I thought there was something a little bit. There was something else I thought she said that was different. But anyway, cool.
Yeah, I think that was the same shizzle. I think it's quite clear. He did co-opt a movement, stepped in and took it. Somebody was asking about Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri was offered to take over the halftime shows, spoke to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z said, you should not do it while Cap is still protesting, and then took over and took the thing, basically.
No, okay, it says, just an overview says, Jermaine Dupri says, just for the correction, update, Jermaine Dupri, unless he's been told not to say this, but I don't know. Jermaine Dupri said Jay-Z never told him to turn down the NFL. I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that. And today on the Big Ticket Show, I never had a conversation where he told me don't do what you're doing. What our conversation was that, you know what side I'm on, I understand what you're doing. That's what the conversation was. I don't even know what that means.
Exactly. Did that not just exactly what I said? You spoke to the same thing. Exactly. You spoke to the guy about the opportunity. He said, I'm with Colin on this. Basically, like, don't do the deal with the NFL because they've locked Colin out. Was what everybody thought Jay-Z's position was on it. I'm not going to do anything with the NFL because Colin isn't a part of it. And then Jay-Z went and did a deal with the NFL without Colin Kaepernick, which was basically what he was telling Jermaine Dupri you shouldn't do. And he went and did it. Now, they're all friends, and I get it from Jermaine's point of view, where you were like, he didn't outwardly tell me, but he's a devil. He doesn't outwardly say anything. The same as you had Desiree sitting behind him with her little devil self. Anyway, I wholeheartedly believe everything that Nicki Minaj is saying about them. It all tracks. We can see how they do things. It's literally, nah, you need to be outed.
It's long been following the capitalist couple of the world, and Jay-Z has been that again is the modeling on the black. It's the black version of getting into white spaces, that representing money by all means, by any means necessary. I'm a businessman, so moving away from the so-called ghettoization of the drug kind of entry, where I'm no longer a street N-word. I'm now a businessman behind closed door. I'm doing Bill Gates shit, and that's that's referenced in the songs and stuff like that. That this is what we're.
But he's still doing it in the same mindset that he would if he was on the road. Like, you know,
of course. I mean, but he's just trying to put a new shine on it.
Yeah, that's it. Like some of the, I mean, if you look at the way that these dirty dealings get done, if you're a big top shutter, he's taking what he's learned and implementing it through these many different businesses.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, that this capitalist movement. Our civil rights movements always get co-opted by some sort of capitalist to come in. You think that, okay, yeah, we're going to get the money, we're going to all these initiatives behind it and all this stuff. It's not that. They get to silence you, they get to stop the power and the effectiveness, the galvanizing, because the fact that Colin was still kneeling and still protesting, and then it's like, well, no, one of the biggest black rappers in the world is going to start producing the halftime show and thinking that it's just enough. I've enjoyed the halftime show. I've kind of forgot myself as well.
Yeah,
you forget yourself. And then you're staying up at night celebrating that fact that there's black people. And this is literally, I've been placated and satiated by seeing black faces. I actually didn't even care about that, to be fair, because the NFL isn't a UK thing. So much the Super Bowl hasn't been a UK thing. It's become marketed as a global thing now. I didn't care. I didn't necessarily see the racism or care about who performed when. If I saw an actor that I knew performed at Super Bowl, I'll tune in. If I didn't, then I'm not paying any attention whatsoever. That's
precisely what they wanted.
No, exactly.
That's the tonic of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
When there is a protest going on, and you remove the protest, and like we are giving now black artists a chance. What the hell has that got to do with anything? That's what they do. It's like smoke and mirrors. It's like, look over here, guys, razzmatazz, and then we're all looking there, and we're forgetting the shit that was being heaped at the NFL for all of the money that goes into how you treat your players, how you're paying your players, their communities that they come from, what you take from communities, and we forget about that because they put Kendrick on a stage.
So just a quick thingy, like the changes since Colin Kaepernick's protest. Inspire Change Initiative launched in 2018. The NFL committed $250 million over 10 years toward criminal justice reform, economic advancement in black communities.
$5 million a year.
250. Education, police community relations. Grants given to grassroots organizations, including Vera Institute, the Players Coalition, and others, supported public service ads on systemic racism and violence. I don't want to hear adverts. Number two, Rock Nation partnership in 2019. Rock Nation became the NFL's live music and social justice partner, focusing on curating Super Bowl halftime shows and integrating black culture and messages into major events. Co-created Song of the Season and supported community causes through music. 3, public acknowledgement of player protests in 2020 in the wake of George Floyd's murder and global BLM protests. Commissioner Roger Goodell admitted that NFL was wrong for not listening to players earlier. He recorded a public video saying, "We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encouraged all to speak out and peacefully protest." However, Kaepernick was not named in the statement and he remains unsigned. Number 4, rule change and sideline policy. The NFL has stopped penalizing players for kneeling or demonstrating during the anthem. Players are allowed to wear helmet decals or jersey patches featuring victims of police violence or social justice slogans. Lift Every Voice and Sing, Black National Anthem, was played before some games during the 2020 season. Number 5, hiring and diversity efforts. Expanded the Rooney Rule, which mandates interviews of minority candidates for head coach and front office roles to include coordinators, women in executive roles. Introduced a diversity advisory committee in 2022. Let's see where that is now. Announced accelerator programs to promote minority coaches and GMs. Hashtag, despite these, or red flag or alarm, despite these changes, representation among black head coaches remains disproportionately low. Number 6, community-facing activism. Support to player-led initiatives through the Players Coalition. Funding for bail reform, voting rights, legal aid, and re-entry services. Teams began hosting town halls and police reform discussions in their communities. What has not changed? Colin Kaepernick remains unsigned by any NFL team since 2016. NFL ownership remains overwhelmingly white and male. No reparative action has been made directly towards Kaepernick for the alleged backballing. Skepticism persists about the authenticity of the league's motives. Many see it as an image management rather than transformative change. So not much has changed. And you know what always pisses me off when I hear about money committed to initiatives? Of all the initiatives, of all the money, of all the funding over, let's say from 2020 till 2025, we should have such a systemic change and progress. There should be so much. There shouldn't be parks struggling. There shouldn't be after school clubs struggling. There shouldn't be children coming to school hungry. There shouldn't need to be breakfast club, night club, lunch club, evening club, bed club, because kids can't afford to live and breathe properly as children should. There shouldn't be poverty. There's so much millions that have been committed by so much organizations, but yet still we're here. Yet still we have people that can't afford to pay their bills, people that can't afford to send their kids to school, people that are still protesting, people that are being disproportionately arrested. We've got ICE running rampant. Why are all these initiatives failing? So when people say that we're doing these initiatives and I'm working with this organization to affect change, and change doesn't happen, and you can sit there with your chest and say, yeah, this is what I did is a good thing. It is wild to me. It is so crazy.
It's just by design. It's not why I was like, so it sounds big when you say 250 million.
Oh, yeah.
Over 10 years, 25 million going to players' initiatives that they are setting up is nothing. That could be the equivalent of a player coming along and being like, oh, I've got this charity set up. Yeah. I'm going to send them a check for $2,000.
Exactly.
Like, you could do that very easily in a year and you would give out 25 million. Now that you are making billions.
Yes.
Like, and it's like, come on now. This is lip service. Why nothing ever changes is because they literally are papering over cracks.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, the government, the Labour government, when they came in, they said that they were going to provide breakfast for all school-aged children. This is what they came in on. This was their promise, that they were going to provide breakfast as standard for all kids. It's not all kids. It's primary school children that they're offering it for. So what about all of the secondary school kids?
Exactly.
And it's at a loss as well. So for some primary schools, they were getting more money from charities doing breakfast clubs than they are the government. Now, they still want the government money. So the government are providing less than the charities are. In some schools, some kids only will get a bagel and water.
Exactly.
But the charity will be funding other kids that can get bagel, orange juice, porridge. And this is what we get into. We're going to help you. Oh, look, it's going to change. And it's subpar help.
Yeah.
It may as well have not even bothered. And that's what they're doing for Black communities.
Yeah.
We're going to do this initiative. We've got this diversity scheme. We're going to hire you here. But it's only up until a point. And sometimes it's at a detriment to your growth to take funding from some people.
Yeah.
Because they know it's not enough. And so you're going to fail. And then you're not going to get funding the next year. And they do that in our community a lot.
All the time. You get, anyway, that's a different conversation. It's a different conversation. Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. It's disappointing. And it's like, that's what I was going to say also, especially when you don't need the money, because Jay-Z, you're a multimillionaire. You've been a multimillionaire and you don't actually have to make that money that way.
Well, he's a billionaire now, isn't he? Isn't he part of the billionaire people?
Maybe it's Billionaire Boys Club. Yeah. I don't know him. I don't know him or his wife. I don't know them. And I don't know actual intention. I don't know if you think that actually, because that's what I was grappling with. And I didn't want to say anything because obviously I've publicly claimed that I'm a Jay-Z fan. So that fanhood, I don't want it to be that I'm saying this to cloud my judgment or act like I'm being biased. But I wonder when you're in the room and you think, okay, look, this is not going to go away. It's causing more and more problems. That whole thing of all the players are not playing, people are getting fined, the kneelings, and it's causing this disarray. How do we sum this? How do we tidy this up and find a way to move forward? I was wondering what was the conversation? Was it going to be worse if he didn't step in? What is that? And again, it's not an excuse for anything, because at best, let's not take the dirty money. Let's not sign the dirty deal. Our lives hasn't necessarily changed just because Rihanna performed at the Super Bowl. I say our lives haven't necessarily. They haven't changed at all. Nothing. No. I haven't got more money. The racism hasn't gone, and poverty still has a foot, and the world's
It hasn't gone. And then, even if we look at the most recent one with Kendrick's performance, how much backlash was there? It's not like people watched Kendrick's performance and were like, "Oh my God, no, I get it now. I get it. We're a racist country and we've been doing these things." There were white people online talking about how very dare there not be any representation of white people.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's great for us because it's a great thing to see, but it does make me wonder about what happens behind the scenes as well. Like what actual change is being made there. It's one thing for us to see this, but what else is happening? And I think Kendrick's performance kind of showed that too.
That's the thing about, because again, it's like, okay, you're not going to shift. You're the NFL. The money's supersonic. We know that nothing's going to change. So what can we do? What can we force you to be committed to? Is it that, okay, 250 million that will go into prison reform? Because I don't know all the things that Jay-Z actually works on. I know that he has been working with Meat Mills a lot on prison reform. And I know that, I know what's been reported is that definitely contributions to people coming out of prison and stuff. That is something that's reported quite a lot about how he helps. Again, I haven't looked into it, so I'm just going on.
You know what it is? Okay, I get where you're going with it.
I'm asking conversation, not to excuse.
Yeah, the fruit is in the pudding, isn't it? It's you see the works, and we can see philanthropy doesn't shift anything really. So if you think of like the Bill Gates Foundation, and what they would be doing in Africa, which they can do top lines. We change this, we change that, like 2% here and then you give it 10 years and then you have whole villages that have various forms of disabilities from these vaccines. So top line, they can say we helped this way. And then you see the through line of what has happened, and that's about culture. So Jay-Z can be out here and talking about we're helping out this initiative, we're helping out that. But the music that Rock Nation is putting out, how many millions of people and culture have you poisoned? So it doesn't weigh up. It's just that you got rich, but actually think about all of the young minds that you've poisoned through this. Like that, I think there are lots of people that can say, I helped this out. There are drug dealers that were poisoning and killing families and destroying homes and were giving people turkey for Christmas and were giving children trainers. That doesn't compensate for all of the lives you were ruining by selling drugs. And I think it is that he was a drug dealer. Why should we expect him to care about humans? If you can literally be selling something that you know contributes no help to people's lives and you were fine dealing that, of course you can peddle out shit to us. We shouldn't really expect much else from folks that actually do have a past drug dealing. I don't think so, especially when it's like you were making thousands at it. No, you don't care about human beings, and we shouldn't expect you to care now. Realistically, you're a capitalist. Capitalism doesn't care about humans.
Yeah,
capitalism doesn't care. You have to have people at the bottom.
It's interesting. No, it's interesting your point about drug dealers, because growing up where I've grown up, it's an interesting concept. But it's what you're doing in the today, what you're doing today versus what you did back then. That's what was making me pause for thought. Yeah, and we're all complicit, unfortunately, because the more we consume, in just liking a tune or watching a thing, it's very difficult to separate yourself from it all.
Definitely. It's it's what we.
Oh, do you know what I always kind of figure? I'm erring on. I'm just trying to figure out, and I think this conversation has been positioned at Kaepernick, because if he got a job, where would he be? What was his stance? What would his stance be? And I think that was something that came up, like what you protested, but you still want to work for the NFL. What is that?
Yeah, he would need to answer that, or what his solutions were. I don't know. I guess the thing is, he wasn't even in the rooms, so who knows?
Yeah, because what would have needed to change? What needed to change for him if he was scouted at the same time as the protests? What changes would he have asked the NFL to make before he put on a helmet and suited up again? But even after the deal was made with Rock Nation and everything moved forward, he's still out there wanting to work for the NFL. So he wanted to still continue to be a baller. So what was it that you were protesting in the end? And for what in the end?
Because they're supposed to want to change, isn't it? So it's just because you, I mean, he's a football player at the peak of his career, right? But you can want change.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
It's like, but that's it though, isn't it? Like you can work for an organization, truly understand that this is, you know, great opportunity and you get to do the thing that you love, but you can want change because you can recognize that organization has issues. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's
maybe he didn't want the status quo.
Yes, yeah, because he being blackballed it's not that I'm like bun that industry because you'd go to somewhere else. No, I want to be a part of this, but I want it to be effective. I want it to be fair. I want them to care about players. I want them to care about black issues, and I don't want to be sacked because I bring this up. And that is basically what happened to him.
Correct.
And that's the thing. It's like the BBC does that. You put your hands up and you start talking, and before you know it, you're out of a job. And that's what is it. That everybody should stand in solidarity, that no, we should be able to talk and speak up against what is not right.
I agree.
Have a job.
I understand. I absolutely agree that, and still have a job. But after a point, protesting the space that's employing you, that's doing the evilness that you're protesting, then you become a cog in the wheel as well. It's like me, I'm talking about this, but I'm watching the NFL. I mean, I'm watching the halftime Super Bowl.
I mean, I think it's a bit different for someone who's a player because where are you going to go?
Where else is he going to play?
Exactly.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I'm just saying. But there's still a point of responsibility. There is still a point of I'm not.
But the responsibility is him. I get where your train of thought is, but the responsibility is him trying to make a change and try to make sure that other people make these changes so that it does become a fair environment for all. If it's a case of okay, well, that's never going to change, then everyone just walks away from it, and that is also not fair. You have to try and change the system by sometimes being within the system and highlighting the errors of the system to change it.
I get that. I do. I 100% agree. I understand. I agree, but I'm still thinking it through because if the system doesn't change, as we've just said, Jay-Z's done this deal with NFL. Rock Nation's done a deal with NFL. And it's for crumbs from a loaf, right? And we're essentially poo-pooing on the initiatives that I don't know how effective they have been, because they could be. Someone actually could say, no, this initiative helped me not get arrested, helped me pay my bills, my jail fees, whatever the case is. I actually appreciate this reform and this initiative, and I'm glad this deal exists. There's that, right? But it's still crumbs to the bigger picture, to the bigger issue. So then, if Colin then gets rehired and you're still protesting, I get it. You shouldn't be dismissed for protesting. Absolutely not. But if your protest is so like this shit needs to change, and you still stay within the corrupt system, then you're still a part of the problem. I'm not saying that I am. I'm not saying
politicians. It's like politicians, yeah. So we've got politicians like what's the lady that's gone with Jerry and Colbert? I forget her name. Sarah Sultana or something like that.
Yeah.
So she was in the Labour Party. Okay, she noticed that she was up there all the time talking about the shit that's happening in the Labour Party. She removed herself from the Labour Party, but she's still a politician because she's still trying to make change within the system that is our government. So you have to try and rather than just be like, she could just be like, I'm just not going to be a politician anymore because it's not going to change. I'm going to walk away. She's actually still trying to make some changes, and she's doing it. She's doing it in an area that she's able to still practice. So by him coming out and saying that I think this is wrong, doesn't mean that he should just step away from it altogether. Because how is that changing anything? If he's not allowed to protest and to say that this is wrong and to highlight the things, then nothing will change. Because everyone will be silent. So that's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I get
it. I just wanted to. There's something in.
I think sometimes it depending on what the cause is, you do have to be a part of it. You do have to be in the belly of it and being a disruptor. So basically, that is kind of what Jay-Z was saying. Is like, oh, I want people to hold me to account. So that, and it's like, not really, because when people hold you to account, you blackball them. So that's a lie. So it's that type of thing. It's like you're saying you want the players to be able to do shit, but the one that did shit that got other people doing it still doesn't have a job. So somebody got ousted.
But do you think Jay-Z blackballed Colin Kaepernick?
No, I'm saying within the music industry, people have definitely said, you go against Jay-Z, you do not work again. And that is a theme. So that's the thing where it's like, well, within that, you're saying, I want to be held to account. The guy that was basically caused this change to be taking place, he still hasn't got a job.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not actually following through on what you're saying in this press conference, because where is the holding account? Why doesn't he have a job? Even if he's not going to play again, why isn't he a part of this initiative of change?
That's the part. It's like, why haven't you spoken out and say it's mad that Colin's not working? Why aren't you speaking up? Because it's mad that he's not working. It's mad that he's not working, and that he should be the mouthpiece of whatever initiative you're doing. And he should have worked very closely with Colin to whatever deal, whatever negotiations you made. That part I agree, definitely agree. No, I actually understand it. It's just, and it's a conversation that's been leveraged at Colin, not just me saying it. And I'm not saying I 100% feel like he's wrong, but it's just interesting to explore and look at it. Because working from within the belly of the beast, it makes sense. In some instances,
I think Rihanna is saying that things. Change happens with change. The only other options are keep your head down or leave. That does nothing. So I get it. Silence is violence. Violence. Sometimes you have to be a rebel. Sometimes your rebellion can be you go in opposition to what the thing is that you're going against. You can go and be in opposition to it. So you leave the organization and keep on shouting. I think as a sportsman, though, the change would be I wasn't able to be blackballed. That would have been a part of the change, because that would have set a tone for other people to not be scared that they are going to lose their job. But what they've done effectively is humble a generation of people, because he lost his job and he hasn't been able to play again. And that sends ripples out to people. There's just no way when you eradicate somebody that is a rebel, that doesn't send shots to everybody else to shut your mouth. And that's what they've done. And Jay-Z is part of that.
Yeah, definitely co-signed that. Allowed that to happen, or paved the way, cleared the way for it to happen. Yeah, you're right. You guys are right. There's a bit of a conversation about music. I think
it's 20 to 4.
Okay, sorry,
it's 20 to 4. This is like 2 hours past the time that we said.
Okay.
Gotta do some nonsense.
Or is any? I'm going to do one nonsense because this was this. Oh, it's a little bit of a debate, but we'll see. We'll see.
There she goes.
I mean, it's a funny story. It's a funny story, though. It's this woman, like, and because you know what it was? I was like,
And out the top at 10, a woman says that she was not allowed to board a Spirit Airlines flight in Miami because of what she was wearing. Tonight, she is talking only to CBS News Miami. Good evening, I'm Jim Barry. Back in January, the airline announced it was cracking down on passengers who it considers inappropriately dressed. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister joins us live tonight from Miami International Airport. So Anna, how did this lady describe exactly what she went through today?
Well, Jim, this passenger, she reached out to us and she said that not only was she not allowed to board her Spirit flight, but she says her sister was arrested.
Oh.
As Tanasia Greyer approached the Spirit ticket counter, tensions quickly grew. She was just told she wouldn't be allowed on her flight back to Chicago.
I'm right here. You need to get out my face. You don't have to address me like that. You can say from right there. You don't have to get in my face.
You don't get to tell me what to do.
And you don't get to tell me what to do.
Greyer says it all started over this outfit she wore to the airport. She says she wore similar shorts while traveling on a plane to Miami on Sunday.
And these are just regular shorts. This is how I walk through the airport. This is how I walk through the airport with these shorts on. With my robe. This is exactly how I have my clothes.
She says her luggage made it onto the flight, but
We were getting ready to board the plane, and the lady at the front desk, she stopped me and said, "You're not getting on a plane like that." So I said, like what? She said, with those shorts. I said, everybody here has on shorts. What's the problem with my shorts? And I've been in this airport for 40 minutes with my shorts and my robe on, and nobody addressed me about my attire.
I'm confused. This is crazy. That voice in the background is Grayer's sister, Jessica Gordelewski. So first, Tanasia says she can't get on her Spirit flight because of her outfit, and then, to make matters worse, she says her sister is arrested for disorderly conduct.
They treated me like a real criminal.
Back in the 1950s and 60s, air travel was a more luxurious and glamorous experience. Passengers dressed in their finest attire. But today, most people in the airport sport more comfortable clothing. We showed other flyers Grayer's outfit and told them she wasn't allowed on her Spirit flight.
Honestly, I don't think that's fair. I feel like every girl, no matter what they're wearing, should be able to express themselves.
Honestly, it's not even bad. The fact that she got kicked off the flight for that is pretty crazy.
As for the sisters, they say they caught another flight back to Chicago Thursday night.
I'm going home. Getting on a flight and going home.
Did you get
done with Miami? They never come here again. Miami.
It's a dressing gown for me.
It's just the dressing gown. She's like, what is going on?
I stopped it before. It said our records show a guest was not in compliance with our contract of carriage, and refused to comply when provided with an opportunity to do so, which is why she was removed.
What's the contract of carriage? What is that?
They've updated their thing of how you travel. I don't even know what the
When did, like when?
Recently.
I had no. I didn't know that you weren't allowed to wear that.
I see people, especially when you're coming from a hot country, because my head always goes to, I hope they got clothes in their bag because it's cold when we get home. But I see people all the time wearing practically next to nothing to get on their plane when we've left a hot country. I see it all the time. It doesn't bother me.
Apparently,
I had her robe on, but it doesn't bother me. That's your business, isn't it? If you want to be comfortable, it's your business.
The airline has updated its contracts of carriage to include more specific examples of clothing and body art that could lead to a passenger being denied boarding or removed from the flight. The updated policy, effective January 2022-25, bans clothing deemed lewd, obscene, or offensive, as well as see-through clothing and exposed body parts. Passengers could also be denied boarding or removed for being barefoot or having offensive tattoos. Inadequately clothed. Inadequately clothed, see-through clothing, doesn't cover the body, exposure of breast, buttocks, or other private parts. Lewd, obscene, or offensive clothing tattoos. That is, lewd, barefoot. Anyone can't travel barefoot. If you have an odor.
Okay, but to be fair.
Wait. If you have an odor that's not related to a disability, you can be required to leave.
How would they know if it's related to a disability? That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. But also, what did you say? You said something about exposure of body parts. To be fair to her, her body parts were covered. To be fair to her, it's not like she had punny printers. Well, she did have punny printers on, but it's not like she had like the shorts that all these young girls are wearing. Where you can see
the batty's out.
You can see everything. She didn't have that on. She had like gym shorts on. To be fair to her, so
no, they were starting on her and her sister.
They were. And she was probably defending herself, and then they were like, "Okay, that's aggression, and get arrested."
And then to her, she had a robe on. So she was hella covered. She was
going to stunt. I'm going to stunt on this new slot.
Oh my God!
She was preparing to sleep on the plane. Yeah.
Strike says she just had shape, and that offends a shapeless. There's that.
Yes, Strike.
It does.
That's exactly right.
Oh my God!
She weren't out there nude. I've seen
mad
things coming from Tenerife. Definitely, people were out here in see-through bits and pieces.
Yep.
But no, it's the whole look. Oh my God!
We can wrap it up there. But yeah, I thought that was very funny. Guys, thank you for bringing us.
Guys, sorry, little announcement from me. So I won't be doing news and nonsense next weekend, and for the next maybe 4 weekends, because I'm going to Grenada. I'm going to be the real Caribbean queen in Grenada.
Leaving us
on their summer holes, like a real English person. Actually, they go away every summer.
Listen, don't start.
I think I missed this one, Casey. But yes, Farah, we're going to miss you for 4 weeks only.
I mean, you might get a little. I might do a little
check-in.
I might do it.
If you're at a hotel, if you're out and you have like really good Wi-Fi, just jump on.
So when I get to the villa, I might try do a little dip on a Sunday.
Come and do a dip in. That'd be nice. What was I going to say? All right. Thank you, Tracy, for your £5. Who else? I've got to scroll through. I don't know how to get them all together in one go.
All right. So, Andrea, thank you for becoming a member.
Welcome, Alexandra. Welcome.
Rianne Paris Wright as well. £10.
Yeah.
Dammy J, $9.99.
Happy birthday, Dammy.
Happy.
Oh, Sistrin.
Thank you.
Oh,
yes, that damn foolish guy.
We have Miley, £20.
Thank you so much. Guys. Appreciate ya.
Sunday Hives and Collection. Thank you.
Little Rock says, can you bring back some Guinea, Auntie Farah?
Some Guinea?
Guineas, maybe.
Skin ups. We call them skin ups in Grenada. You lot call them gin ups. Well, I say you lot. Jamaicans call them gin ups.
You brought them back last time, didn't you? I swear I remember. What did you bring back?
No, I brought back Tambra and but I can bring back some skin ups. I don't like them personally.
I love them, and
I think I ate too many of them when I was young, and now they've got that lychee kind of, you know that.
I was going to say, aren't they the little green ones?
They are.
I love those.
I feel like they're not selling them in this country.
No,
anymore.
I was just about to say I haven't seen them for ages. Years.
No, I went for a run of getting them. It's not been. It's like for some reason they're not in the shops. I don't know what's going on.
I used to see them when we was in Peckham.
No, but that's a black shop.
Yeah, in the time. I haven't seen it in a while.
But yeah, I'll try to. That's one thing they do have in abundance. They do have skin ups in abundance. Like what I lack, what I don't see often now is plums, and it's not like the same plums. They're like little green things like that, and then magnificent, or golden apples, which aren't the same golden apples as us, but there's certain fruits that you just don't see anymore.
Well, even still, remember they keep on changing shit that you're even allowed to bring into this country.
100%. When I've brought stuff in, it's like I'm doing it illegally.
Yeah, we wrap up the wrapper. Oh, that was another video that I didn't share.
Oh, you can get them in Bristol Market. Okay.
Yeah, that's the last time I got them from. But the store that I got them from, I don't see them again. I have not seen them for a little minute, and that was the last place. Brixton is the last place I got them from.
I'll try and bring you both a bag back to share.
I mean,
thank you, but I also just want.
You're right.
I'm going to send you money for honey because.
Yeah, the honey. Yes, I'll definitely get you the same honey that I got. I'm going to get myself.
I'm not going to send you money, but I want everything.
Jamaica has wonderful passion fruit.
Oh, do they?
Passion fruit in Jamaica.
I love
passion fruit. So much different fruit there.
I just love the fruit when you're away.
Fruit back home is different.
Amazing.
Top tier.
I can't wait to be able to eat avocados again.
Oh,
I'm so excited to be able to eat. I've not eaten avocados for such a long period of time.
I've seen non-related avocados.
I know, but they're very rare.
Okay.
And in most places, they're the other ones. And anyway, just to be able to eat pear, that's the size of
your head. Yeah.
Our Kenyan shopkeeper has the proper ones, the African ones. I don't know where they're from, but yeah.
Amazing.
Go there, they have the proper pear that lasts us. All of us can eat from one, all four of us.
Yes, and healthily, like get a good portion as well.
Yeah.
Love it. I can't wait. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. We're going to miss you though. You're going to
miss a whole month.
I know.
Basically August.
Yeah.
And that was like last year as well, wasn't it? Yeah, you went here for August. Okay. I don't know if we're going to give you permission to do that next year.
Oh,
unless we go.
But listen, I've been saying to you, look, you need to come, man.
Yeah, I love the invite without funds.
Yeah, we need the tourist board to sponsor us.
Yes,
go there.
That's it. That's it. We definitely need it. But I'm working on things. I'll see what we can do. I'm working.
Okay.
We need to get the right hookups.
Alrighty.
Thank you guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Are you pressing it?
I'm pressing it.